Chapter 2277. At that moment, the three people who had rushed out first had already entered the flame curtain. However, the three of them had clearly entered without any mishaps. Soon, Tang Ao and the other two arrived in front of the flame curtain. "Friend, please wait. I have." A warrior who had followed behind wanted to imitate the handsome youth beside Tang Ao and asked Tang Ao to bring him along. However, before he could finish speaking, Tang Ao and the other two's figures instantly passed through the flame curtain and disappeared. After passing through the flame curtain, Tang Ao and the other two arrived in a huge underground space with countless intersecting passageways. Although it was still hot inside, there was no danger. Tang Ao instantly put away the netherworld flame. After Tang Ao put away the netherworld flame, Hou Yufei also heaved a sigh of relief. Tang Ao's netherworld flame was indeed inferior to the flame curtain. However, when Tang Ao's netherworld flame wrapped around him, he would most likely be injured if Tang Ao wanted to play any trick. The heavenly fire ruins had been buried in the immortal ruins for countless years. Who knew how many good things there were inside? If he was injured now, then many of the treasures might not have much to do with him. "I am Hou Yufei. How should I address you, friend? Also, this is a portion of everlasting water. It is a necessary item to refine cold gold iron. I am giving it to you." Hou Yufei cupped his fists towards Tang Ao and handed over a jade bottle at the same time. Tang Ao's current refining level was already infinitely close to a Grade 2 Immortal Weapon Master. Therefore, Tang Ao naturally knew that in order to refine cold gold iron, he had to have everlasting water. Originally, Tang Ao was thinking of asking Jin Chun Myriad Treasure Tower if there was everlasting water. However, Tang Ao did not expect that Hou Yufei would actually give him a portion of everlasting water. Tang Ao, a rogue warrior from a low-level continent. As Tang Ao spoke, he extended his hand towards Hou Yufei. Immediately, a psyche imprint was caught in Tang Ao's hand. Under Hou Yufei's shocked gaze, Tang Ao adeptly placed a restriction on the psyche imprint and sealed it in a jade box. Hou Yufei had always known that an expert had planted a psyche imprint on him. However, no matter how he searched, he could not find it. Hou Yufei did not expect that Tang Ao would be able to see through the psyche imprint at a glance and easily remove it. Hou Yufei immediately cupped his fists and thanked Tang Ao. "Thank you, senior brother Tang Ao. This soul imprint was planted by a Yin-Yang Stage Level 1 Elder of the Ruins of Immortality's Elders Association. I have a precious treasure with me, but I accidentally leaked its aura. This psyche imprint was planted in me by a Yin-Yang Realm First Level Elder of the Ruins of Immortality's Elder Council. I have a precious treasure on me, but it accidentally leaked its aura. Therefore, he left a psyche imprint on me. If I didn't need a brilliant dragon fruit, I would not have left South Ruins City so easily. Now that I have sealed the psyche imprint on you in this jade box, you should know how to use it." Tang Ao sighed inwardly. The Ruins of Immortality's Elder Council was indeed a nest of snakes and rats. Lu Hua had his eyes on Sushiro's heavenly law talisman, and now someone else was eyeing Hou Yufei's treasure. However, Tang Ao also knew that Hou Yufei's treasure had not been completely refined. Chapter 2278. If others knew that Hou Yufei, a level 3 astral-reaching realm martial artist, had a grade 9 immortal artifact, then he would definitely be eaten alive. However, right now, Tang Ao did not have any thoughts about Hou Yufei. Everyone wanted a grade 9 immortal artifact, but Tang Ao would not do something like killing and robbing. "Many thanks, senior brother Tang Ao. This Heaven Fire Ruins has been buried in the immortal ruins for tens of thousands of years. There are countless treasures inside. I will bid farewell to senior brother Tang Ao and junior brother Jin Chun. If fate wills it, we will meet again." After Hou Yufei finished speaking, Tang Ao nodded his head. Immediately after, Hou Yufei chose a passageway. Immediately, Tang Ao led Jin Chen in another direction. Tang Ao didn't enter the passageway immediately. Instead, he brought Jin Chen to the side and threw out several array flags. A moment later, a Grade 2 concealment immortal array was set up by Tang Ao. After setting up the Grade 2 concealment immortal array, Tang Ao and Jin Chen hid in the array and looked at the flaming curtains at the entrance. At this moment, the temperature of the flame curtains had dropped a bit. More and more martial artists were entering the flame curtains. The terrain here was very complicated. Tang Ao did not think that the first one to enter would be able to obtain the treasures. Moreover, under the probing of Tang Ao's soul remembrance, this underground space was very dangerous. Just within the range of his soul remembrance, there were a lot of hidden dangers. According to the information Tang Ao had received, a group of martial artists had already entered this place. However, after Tang Ao entered, he did not see a single one of them. This made Tang Ao a bit confused. As more and more martial artists entered, some of them randomly chose a passage and went in, while others started to observe their surroundings. Some martial artists even sat down on the ground, as if they were not here to search for treasures, but to cultivate in the heaven fire ruins. What interested Tang Ao the most was a young girl. She looked to be about 15 or 16 years old, brimming with youthful vigor. As soon as she entered, her eyes lit up. Then, without any hesitation, she ran directly towards the concealment array where Tang Ao and Jin Chen were. Looking at her actions, Tang Ao really thought that this young girl was talented to be able to tell that there was a Grade 2 immortal grade concealment array here with a single glance. However, Tang Ao soon thought too much. Tang Ao saw that the girl had stopped one zhang away from his array. Then, she took out a shovel and started digging. After Tang Ao's soul remembrance swept over the place the girl was digging, he silently shook his head. Under Tang Ao's soul remembrance, the place the girl was digging was a pile of rock. There was nothing else. The girl's actions naturally attracted the attention of many people. However, after everyone's soul remembrance swept over, they all glanced at Tang Ao and silently shook their heads. They thought that this girl had gone crazy from searching for opportunities. Once she entered the ruins, she started randomly digging. Did she think that the ruins were all treasures? Chapter 2279. However, before Tang Ao could walk out of the concealment formation, Tang Ao was stunned by the fire-red crystal that the young girl had dug out. Scarlet fire crystal. With Tang Ao's experience, he naturally recognized what the thing in the young girl's hand was. It was a 4th grade immortal material, scarlet fire crystal, a type of fire attribute fuel. After igniting it, it could produce immortal flames equivalent to 4th grade immortal flames. It could be said to be a rare treasure. Tang Ao had been in the ruins of immortality for a long time, but this was the highest grade material that Tang Ao had seen so far. Tang Ao did not know how the young girl found out that there was a scarlet fire crystal buried underground, but now, Tang Ao wanted to come out and dig for the scarlet fire crystal with the young girl. However, when the young girl found out that there was only a scarlet fire crystal buried underground, she immediately raised her hand and threw the scarlet fire crystal away. What a broken thing! You made me dig for so long. Annoying, annoying! With a dong sound, the young girl was surprised to find that the scarlet fire crystal, which should have broken into pieces, had actually bounced back in midair. The reason why the scarlet fire crystal bounced back was naturally because the scarlet fire crystal that Long Lon Lon had thrown out had hit Tang Ao's concealment formation. Then, Long Lon Lon walked forward out of curiosity. Long Lon Lon was secretly delighted, and wondered if she had accidentally discovered the concealment formation of the heavenly fire ruins. According to Long Lanlan's knowledge, there were usually many treasures in these concealment formations. Thinking of this, Long Lon Lon quickened her pace. Soon another dong sound was heard. This time, Long Lanlan's little head had directly hit Tang Ao's concealment formation. Long Lon Lon was immediately angered. The dark silver iron shovel in her hand did not have any hesitation and directly slashed in front of her. But at this moment, a vast aura instantly spread out, and at the same time, an old voice sounded in the underground space. Impudent! This voice naturally belonged to Tang Ao. As Tang Ao's thoughts turned, Tang Ao immediately had a good idea. Although Tang Ao recognized that Long Lan Lan had just dug out a scarlet fire crystal, Tang Ao's understanding of the scarlet fire crystal was still insufficient. Previously, when Tang Ao used his soul remembrance to investigate, he didn't discover any scarlet fire crystals underground. Now that Long Lan Lan had dug a large hole, Tang Ao used his soul remembrance to investigate again, but he still didn't discover any scarlet fire crystals. However, under Tang Ao's careful investigation, Tang Ao discovered an unusual aura underground. However, Tang Ao didn't think that he would be able to find the scarlet fire crystal by relying on this aura. This Long Lan Lan was obviously talented, and had a special method to unearth heavenly treasures. Therefore, Tang Ao decided to let Long Lan Lan help him dig out these scarlet fire crystals. Even if Tang Ao successfully found the 9-colored sky fire crystal, Tang Ao's netherworld flame could only advance to the 3rd grade immortal fire. As long as he had these scarlet fire crystals, Tang Ao would be able to conjure a 4th grade immortal fire at any time. As long as he had enough scarlet fire crystals, it would be equivalent to Tang Ao carrying a 4th grade immortal fire with him. Whether it was alchemy, refining weapons, or fighting enemies, it would be extremely beneficial to Tang Ao. Who is it? Long Lan Lan immediately let out a scream. Long Lan Lan was originally timid, so when Tang Ao's voice suddenly appeared, Long Lan Lan was even more shocked. I am the guardian of this heavenly fire ruins, Tang Ao said directly. Chapter 2280. Hearing Long Lan Lan's words, Tang Ao was speechless. Tang Ao could tell that Long Lan Lan had the bloodline of the dragon tribe at a glance, and her bloodline level was not low either. Tang Ao's 9 dragons emperor's jade body trembled slightly, as if it wanted to compete with her. But Tang Ao did not expect Long Lan Lan to be so timid. Tang Ao coughed and said quickly, "Everything in this relic is ownerless now, it belongs to whoever finds it." Really? Then tell me where the good stuff is hidden in this cave abode, I'll take it all away. Long Lan Lan's eyes lit up, looking at the space where Tang Ao was, as if she could see countless treasures. Hearing Long Lan Lan's words, Tang Ao choked and coughed, but soon Tang Ao continued to persuade her. I'm only in charge of the treasures in this area. Those warriors just now were all mortals, they did not discover the treasures here, only you found them. It means that this is your opportunity. Listen to this old man carefully. The stone you just dug out is the proof of exchanging for treasures. Proof to exchange for treasures. Although she did not know what she could exchange for, Long Lan Lan did not hesitate to run to the side and pick up the scarlet fire crystal that she had thrown away. That's right, it's proof to exchange for treasures. Be it cultivation techniques, magic skills, secret skills, immortal equipment, or elixirs, you can use this stone to exchange for them with me. Tang Ao had obtained too many good things in Great Dream Dao Lord's Dao Palace, many of which Tang Ao did not need at all, so it did not matter if he exchanged a few for Long Lan Lan. Most importantly, Tang Ao realized that he did not seem to have the ability to dig out the scarlet fire crystal from the ground. Hearing Tang Ao's words, Long Lan Lan's eyes lit up. Long Lan Lan smiled proudly. Those idiots had dared to laugh at her, not knowing that there was a great opportunity here. Uncle, do you have the Imperial Dragon Dao pill here? Cough, cough, cough. Tang Ao choked and coughed violently. After a long time, Tang Ao calmed down. Then, Tang Ao slowly said, "The Emperor Dragon Dao pill is a grade 9 immortal pill that requires a celestial chaos stage cultivation to exchange for. With your current astral reaching realm cultivation, you can only exchange for rank 3 and below immortal pills. The same goes for immortal artifacts and cultivation technique. Tang Ao was speechless. Tang Ao sighed in his heart. This Long Lon Lon was really daring. The moment she opened her mouth, she actually wanted to exchange for the Imperial Dragon Dao Pill. Tang Ao was a Tier 9 Pill Emperor Shenong Emperor's direct disciple. Even now, Tang Ao didn't know what the Imperial Dragon Dao Pill looked like. Are there any dragon saliva pills? Long Lon Lon didn't care about the lack of Imperial Dragon Dao pills, because even if Tang Ao had the Imperial Dragon Dao core, she would not be able to use it now. Compared to the Imperial Dragon Dao core, the Dragon Saliva Pill was what Long Lon Lon needed the most. Hearing Long Lon Lon ask about Grade 8 and Grade 9 Immortal Pills without saying anything, Tang Ao's expression finally recovered a bit. Tang Ao hadn't seen the Imperial Dragon Dao core, but Tang Ao had a lot of Grade 1 Dragon Saliva Pills. These Dragon Saliva Pills were all obtained by Tang Ao from Great Dream Dao Lord's Dao Palace. Of course, with Tang Ao's alchemy ability, he could have as many of these pills as he wanted. Especially since Tang Ao still had a lot of spiritual herbs to refine the Dragon Saliva Pill. Therefore, Tang Ao even took out the Farmer God Cauldron and prepared for a long battle. Of course I have Dragon Saliva Pills. 1 Scarlet Fire Crystal for 1 Dragon Saliva Pill. Tang Ao didn't know how many Scarlet Fire Crystals there were down there, so he said a more conservative exchange plan. However, after hearing Tang Ao's words, Long Lanlin's eyes lit up. She immediately waved her dark silver shovel and started to dig around. Chapter 2281. Long Lon Lon used her spiritual power to catch the jade bottle. Opening the bottle, there were exactly 21 Dragon Saliva Pills in it. After seeing these Dragon Saliva Pills, Long Lanlin's big watery eyes lit up. Then, Long Lon Lon took out a Dragon Saliva Pill and chewed on it eagerly. Delicious! Long Lanlin's eyes immediately revealed a satisfied look. Long Lon Lon was a very easily satisfied little girl. Long Lon Lon had never eaten the Dragon Saliva Pill before, but there were records of this pill in her inherited memories. Watching Long Lon Lon eat the Dragon Saliva Pill as if it were candy, Tang Ao, who was in the concealment array, was dumbfounded. He thought to himself that the physique of the dragon tribe was indeed domineering. Uncle, do you still have more Dragon Saliva Pills? After Long Lon Lon finished eating the Dragon Saliva Pills, she immediately lifted her head and looked at the empty space in front of her. Tang Ao, who was in the concealment array, couldn't help but think of Tang Hwee when he saw Long Lanlin's expression. When he thought about the dangers of the ruins of immortality, Tang Ao secretly rejoiced that he did not bring Tang Yu and Tang Hwee along with him. After arriving at the ruins of immortality, Tang Ao could not even take care of himself, let alone take care of the two of them. As for Tang Hwee and Tang Yu, they had been in human form for a long time. Tang Ao naturally could not imprison them in the Chaos Hexagram Mirror like Little Flame and Hwee. Not to mention Tang Hwee and Tang Yu, even Little Flame and Little Flame were unhappy that Tang Ao had kept them locked up in the chaotic hexagram mirror space. I still have a lot of Dragon Saliva Pills. As long as you can find more Scarlet Fire Crystals, you can come here to exchange them anytime. Tang Ao did not know how many Scarlet Fire Crystals there were in this area, but Tang Ao knew that he still had more than 2,000 Dragon Saliva Pills on him. The Dragon Saliva Pill did not have much effect on human martial artists. Apart from body refinement martial artists, ordinary martial artists were simply unable to withstand the violent medicinal power of the Dragon Saliva Pill. However, to the dragon race, the Dragon Saliva Pill was similar to a jelly bean. However, after consuming the Dragon Saliva Pill, the cultivation of the dragon race martial artists could continuously increase. Generally speaking, a young dragon could consume 300 to 400 Dragon Saliva Pills a day. Tang Ao guessed that Long Lon Lon was probably a young dragon now. Therefore, the dragon saliva pills in Tang Ao's hands were enough for Long Lon Lon to work hard. Long Lon Lon was elated when she heard that Tang Ao still had the dragon saliva pill. Long Lon Lon didn't expect her luck to be so good. The moment she entered the ruins, she found someone who could exchange for the dragon saliva pill. In Long Lanlin's inherited memories, the Dragon Clan martial artists were not adept at alchemy, so it was very difficult to obtain the dragon saliva pill. But Long Lon Lon could only lament that her luck was too good. She had only just entered the Heavenly Fire ruins. She couldn't imagine what else she would get in the future. At this thought, Long Lon Lon picked up the dark silver shovel and dug in another direction. When Long Lon Lon started to dig out the scarlet fire crystals, Tang Ao used his sky polar eyes to look at her. But under Tang Ao's sky polar eyes, there was still nothing in that area. But as Long Lon Lon dug, Tang Ao soon discovered that the aura in the surroundings was suddenly attracted by the dragon chi in Long Lanlin's body and was slowly gathering under Long Lanlin's shovel. Chapter 2282. Thus, Tang Ao concluded that Long Lon Lon was the only one who could excavate the scarlet fire crystals here. The reason why Tang Ao stopped here was because he wanted to see if there were any other secrets in the Heavenly Fire ruins. Tang Ao did not expect that the scarlet fire crystals would appear after he waited for so long. With the temptation of the dragon saliva pill, Long Lanlin's speed of excavating the scarlet fire crystals was extremely fast. Very soon, the dragon saliva pills in Tang Ao's hands were almost empty. Seeing this, Tang Ao was secretly amazed at the amount of scarlet fire crystals here. At the same time, he took out the Shennon cauldron and started to concoct the dragon saliva pill. Tang Ao did not have many dragon saliva pills left. However, Tang Ao had a lot of immortal herbs to concoct the dragon saliva pill. Moreover, with Tang Ao's pill concoction ability, concocting the dragon saliva pill was too easy. After taking out the Shennon cauldron, Tang Ao originally wanted to summon the netherworld flame to concoct the pill. However, Tang Ao thought for a while and decided to try using the scarlet fire crystals. Although the earth fire array below the green rock pill furnace could also condense grade 4 immortal flames, Tang Ao had never used the green rock pill furnace to concoct pills. Tang Ao activated the spiritual energy in his hands and a ball of flame jumped out from the scarlet fire crystal. After the ball of flame jumped out, the surrounding temperature rose rapidly. Tang Ao was slightly surprised. He immediately made a few hand seals and the violent flame immediately became gentle. I didn't expect the flame condensed from the scarlet fire crystal to be so easy to control. Previously, when Tang Ao saw the violent reaction of the scarlet fire crystal, he was worried that he would not be able to control the flame released by the scarlet fire crystal. Now that Tang Ao made the hand seals, he could immediately feel that the flame released by the scarlet fire crystal was as easy to control as the netherworld flame. Tang Ao sighed in his heart. This scarlet fire crystal was really a good treasure. At this moment, Tang Ao even felt that these scarlet fire crystals might not only be used to concoct pills, but could also be used to set up arrays. The scarlet fire crystal burner master's true fire was a grade 4 immortal flame. Even a yin-yang realm level 3 martial artist wouldn't dare to touch it. If he didn't know about the Inferno array and used the scarlet fire crystal as the fire source, thinking of this, Tang Ao grinned. The Enigma fire array was only a second-rank immortal array. Even if it were the top-rank Enigma fire array, it would only be able to deal with 6th-level astral-reaching realm warriors. However, if the flames in the Enigma fire array were to be replaced by the Scarlet Fire Crystal's Grade 4 Immortal Flame True Fire, the power would be incomparable. Now that Tang Ao had over 2,000 Scarlet Fire Crystals on him, it would be a piece of cake for him to set up the Inferno array. Even now, Tang Ao was considering whether or not to lure Lu Hua out and get rid of him. Otherwise, Lu Hua would be like a venomous snake, staring at Tang Ao from the shadows. However, what Tang Ao wanted to say was that the Heavenly Tao Talisman was a very special treasure. It had the soul imprint of the Su family's ancestor. Lu Hua's strength was miles away from the Su family's ancestor. Even if he obtained the Heavenly Tao Talisman, he wouldn't be able to refine it. Back then, if Lu Hua was willing to spend tens of thousands of years to slowly polish it, then it would be a different story. Lu Hua's cultivation base was at the Yin-Yang realm level 3. If Tang Ao could lure Lu Hua into his Enigma Fire Array, it would not be impossible to get rid of Lu Hua with the help of the Enigma Fire Array. However, being able to cultivate to the Yin-Yang realm, Lu Hua was not easy to deal with. Luring Lu Hua into the Enigma Fire Array would not be easy either. Chapter 2283. Tang Ao slapped the Shenong cauldron and immediately, 18 dragon saliva pills were refined by Tang Ao. The dragon saliva pill was an elixir with a high number of pills. Ordinary elixirs would only have 3, 6, or even 9 pills. There were not many elixirs like the dragon saliva pill that could produce 18 pills. However, Tang Ao could tell that this elixir formula was obviously used to fool the dragon clan. This elixir formula pursued the maximum number of pills, thus suppressing the efficacy. The dragon saliva pill that was refined in this way could only produce about 10% of the original efficacy. If Tang Ao made some changes to the elixir formula, the efficacy could be increased to at least 30% and the number of dragon saliva pills would not decrease. Therefore, after refining the first batch of dragon saliva pills, Tang Ao did not continue refining them. Instead, he started to deduce the elixir formula. Tang Ao's current alchemy skills were extremely high and he was halfway to becoming a Grade 2 alchemy master. Besides that, Tang Ao's master was the Shenong cauldron. His experience in refining elixirs and his understanding of alchemy were far beyond that of an ordinary person. Even so, it was not easy for Tang Ao to modify an elixir formula. The concealment array. Jin Chen was bored and started cultivating as he watched Tang Ao deduce the elixir formula. Time passed slowly and the scarlet fire crystals in the cauldron burned out. Tang Ao came back to his senses after a series of array fluctuations. The array fluctuations were naturally because Long Lon Lon had found many more scarlet fire crystals. At this moment, half of the entrance to the heavenly fire ruins had been dug out by Long Lon Lon. Seeing this, Tang Ao estimated that there were about 4,000 scarlet fire crystals at the entrance. Being able to obtain more than 4,000 scarlet fire crystals, even if Tang Ao did not obtain anything else, it was still a worthwhile trip for him. Uncle Array Spirit, do you still want to exchange for stones? Long Lon Lon placed her hands on her waist and looked in Tang Ao's direction. She raised her hand and knocked on the array a few times like she was knocking on a door. Her small appearance was quite cute. I'll trade. Hand over the scarlet fire crystals. Tang Ao was speechless. He had clearly told Long Lon Lon that these dark red, transparent crystals were precious scarlet fire crystals. However, these scarlet fire crystals were still stones in Long Lan Lan's mouth. She didn't have any dignity as a scarlet fire crystal. This time, Long Lon Lon gave over 100 fire crystals to Tang Ao, and Tang Ao also took out 100 dragon saliva pills and gave them to Long Lon Lon. Coincidentally, after Long Lon Lon received the dragon saliva pill from Tang Ao, she directly picked up the bottle that Tang Ao had just refined. After opening it and eating one, Long Lan Lan's eyes narrowed into crescent moons. Uncle Zhenling, this dragon saliva pill is hot and delicious. Long Lon Lon revealed a happy expression as she spoke. Every time she exchanged elixirs with Tang Ao, Long Lon Lon would eat one to check if the elixir that Tang Ao had given her was real. Seeing Long Lon Lon like this, Tang Ao felt that this young girl from the Dragon Clan was even more adorable. Chapter 2284. Hearing Tang Ao's words, Long Lanlin's face lit up with joy. Wasn't the dragon's saliva pill of higher quality the one that she had just eaten? Thinking about how she could use the stones to exchange for the dragon's saliva pill, Long Lanlon immediately got excited. Although Long Lanlon didn't know why Uncle Array's spirit wanted such a useless stone. However, these stones could be exchanged for the dragon's saliva pill, so Long Lanlon didn't care. She immediately went to dig for the scarlet fire crystals. After Long Lanlon left, Tang Ao looked at the Shinnon cauldron and realized that the scarlet fire crystal had already been burnt out. Seeing this, Tang Ao sighed. The scarlet fire crystal was good, easy to use and flexible to control. However, it was a consumable after all. Every time it was used, there would be one less. Moreover, once the scarlet fire crystal was burnt out, it couldn't be stopped. Tang Ao didn't know when the scarlet fire crystal would be extinguished, but Tang Ao estimated that one scarlet fire crystal could at most be used to concoct about 3 batches of pills. This was under the condition that the pill concoction speed was fast. If the speed was slower, he might only be able to concoct 1 or 2 batches of pills. This time, Tang Ao didn't start the concoction immediately. Instead, he continued to ponder over the dragon's saliva pill's pill formula. Time passed quietly, but Tang Ao, who was inside the array formation, didn't seem to notice half of it. Stalks of herbs appeared in Tang Ao's mind. Thereafter, Tang Ao arranged these herbs and rejected them one by one. After cultivating for so long, Tang Ao had a very clear understanding of the various medicinal effects and characteristics of immortal herbs. Therefore, Tang Ao wanted to modify a pill formula that was most suitable for concocting the dragon's saliva pill. The pill formula in Tang Ao's hands used a total of 19 immortal herbs. However, Tang Ao knew that 7 out of these 19 immortal herbs were added to ensure the quantity of the dragon's saliva pill. Because of these 7 immortal herbs, the medicinal effects of the dragon's saliva pill were suppressed. This resulted in the dragon's saliva pill being concocted according to this pill formula being only 10% effective. Dragon race warriors were innately not suited for alchemy. Hence, even such a dragon saliva pill was still very attractive to the dragon race. Hence, after this pill recipe was created, it spread far and wide. Later on, even if some alchemists discovered this problem, they were too lazy to fix it. If it wasn't for the fact that Tang Ao Alchemy had discovered a flaw in the pill formula, who knew when he would have the opportunity to improve the dragon saliva pill? In reality, even though the dragon race wasn't proficient in pill concoction, it didn't mean that they didn't know the importance of pills. Therefore, within the dragon race, they had already specially selected members of the dragon race who had a special affinity with immortal herbs to produce offspring. And these children would be nurtured by the highest level of alchemy. Therefore, after tens of thousands of years, the dragon race, which was innately not good at refining pills, had been made up for by the dragon race's experts using their acquired wisdom. At this moment, there were still many members of the dragon tribe who were proficient in alchemy. There were even some top-notch alchemists. Even so, the dragon clan had yet to overcome the problem of the dragon's saliva pill. Tang Ao was completely unaware of these people. At this moment, Tang Ao was completely immersed in concocting the pill. Tang Ao didn't know anything else. As Tang Ao continued to deduce, a hint of joy appeared on Tang Ao's face. Chapter 2285. The third recipe was what Tang Ao was going to use to refine elixirs. This recipe produced 36 elixirs, which was the maximum number of elixirs. At the same time, it could exert more than 60% of the efficacy of the dragon's saliva elixir. Compared to the original recipe, which could only exert 10% of the efficacy, the recipe that Tang Ao had deduced now was vastly different. While Long Lanlon was digging the scarlet fire crystals, a mighty middle-aged man was standing on the head of a purple-horned golden dragon in the void of the immortal ruins. The middle-aged man was the current leader of the dragon clan, Long Ming. Long Ming was about to return to the true dragon world when he suddenly sensed a faint aura in the void. At first, Long Ming didn't pay attention to it, but after sensing it carefully, his face immediately lit up with ecstasy. This is the aura of the divine dragon bloodline. The divine dragon bloodline is not extinct, there are still survivors outside. Thinking of this, Long Ming carefully sensed it, and then his eyes looked towards the immortal ruins. Long Ming's eyes pierced through the void of the realm and martial world. As an expert of the Tao Master realm, as long as he sensed a trace of the aura, he could immediately find the location of the clansmen of the divine dragon bloodline. Everyone knew that the Tao Master realm was the end of the path of cultivation, but as the leader of the dragon clan, Long Ming knew that the Tao Master realm was still far from the end of the path of martial arts. In this world, the real top experts were experts of the Divine King realm. It was rumored that the 36 great warriors of the True Dragon world, including the True Dragon world, were once established by a Divine King realm expert. In the history of the Dragon Clan, there were also experts of the Divine King realm, and there was more than one. After research by Long Ming and some of the supreme elders of the Dragon Clan, they found that in order to cultivate to the Divine King realm, one must have the Divine Dragon bloodline. Originally, Long Ming also thought that the Divine Dragon bloodline had long been lost in the long river of history, but he didn't expect that he would meet a clansman of the Divine Dragon bloodline this time. As long as this clansman was carefully cultivated, it was very likely that there would be an expert of the Divine King realm in the future. Even if it was not good, there would still be an expert of the Tao Master realm. In the True Force realm, only clans with Tao Masters had the right to speak. The more experts of the Tao Master realm there were, the more power the clan had in the True Force realm. Of course, humans were an exception. Among the human clan martial artists, there were obviously the most Tao Masters. However, the human clan had their own ulterior motives and constantly fought with each other. They clearly had the most Tao Masters, but they did not have much say. Long Ming's spiritual will pierced through the void between realms and soon arrived at the ruins of immortality. The moment Long Ming's spiritual will descended, the 9 elders of the ruins of immortality looked up in shock. At this moment, they clearly sensed a terrifying spiritual will scanning the ruins of immortality. After sensing this divine sense, Li Yujun immediately cupped his fists and said, "May I know which senior is inspecting the immortal ruins? Please forgive us for not going out to greet you." Li Yujun was a character of the Langya Realm Lord's bloodline. In fact, he could even directly meet the Langya Realm Lord. However, Li Yujun was sure that he had never felt such a terrifying pressure even from the Langya world's world lord. In other words, the expert who was currently exploring the ruins of immortality was a cultivator who had surpassed the muddy heaven realm. Chapter 2286. While Tang Ao was refining the dragon saliva elixir, Tang Ao's expression changed drastically. At this moment, he felt an unprecedentedly vast divine sense enveloping the entire ruins of immortality. It was as if all the changes in the ruins of immortality were being observed by this expert. Tang Ao felt as if this divine sense had penetrated him in an instant. Under this divine sense, Tang Ao had no secrets to speak of. This feeling made Tang Ao's face turn cold. Although he had never seen a Tao Master expert, Tang Ao was sure that someone who could do this must be a Tao Master expert. Tang Ao knew that there were many things on him that even a Tao Master expert would covet. Therefore, if he was really seen through by a Tao Master expert, his life would most likely be over. Just as Tang Ao was worrying, Tang Ao's chaotic hexagram mirror suddenly emitted a mysterious wave. This mysterious wave instantly enveloped the entire space. Under the mysterious wave of the chaotic hexagram mirror, the space where Tang Ao was in seemed to have suddenly disappeared into thin air. Thousands of miles away, Long Ming's expression kept changing. He had already confirmed that the aura of the divine dragon bloodline had indeed appeared in the ruins of immortality in Langyu World. However, he had yet to find the exact location. He didn't know what had happened, but the clansman with the divine dragon bloodline had suddenly disappeared. Long Ming had a very pure true dragon aura on him. Therefore, Long Ming guessed that if this clansman had discovered him, he would definitely try his best to find him. Why did this clansman's aura suddenly disappear? Even if something had happened, the aura on his body should have lingered in the surroundings. It shouldn't have disappeared completely. Even if Long Ming was a Dao Master expert, Long Ming also couldn't figure out what had happened. In the heavenly fire ruins, Long Lanlan's big eyes turned. Just now, she had indeed felt a familiar aura, like that of a family member. However, before Long Lanlan could feel it carefully, the aura suddenly disappeared. Long Lanlan didn't care. She continued to wave the iron shovel and dig out the scarlet fire crystals at the entrance of the heavenly fire ruins. After Long Ming's divine sense disappeared completely, the mysterious aura of the chaotic hexagram mirror also slowly dissipated. Tang Ao didn't know who had used their divine sense to explore the ruins of immortality. But after sensing that the other party's divine sense had faded, Tang Ao also heaved a sigh of relief. After waiting for a while and finding nothing unusual, Tang Ao started refining the dragon saliva pill again. Tang Ao also understood that he wasn't in the black-yellow continent anymore. He had arrived in the true martial world. In the true realm, there were not many top experts, but there were also many. Therefore, it was normal for such experts to occasionally sweep the void with their spiritual wills. Although a Dao Master expert had used his divine sense to explore the ruins of immortality, Tang Ao estimated that the other party was very far away from the ruins of immortality. It was just that his divine sense had passed through countless void realms. Tang Ao's guess was absolutely correct. At this moment, Long Ming was indeed very far away from the ruins of immortality. Even if Long Ming could tear countless spaces, it would still take him half a year to travel from the true dragon world to the Langyu world. As for celestial turbid realm experts, if they wanted to travel from the Langyu world to the true dragon world, they would need hundreds or even thousands of years if they didn't have a top spatial escape technique. Chapter 2287. Although there was no Dao Master in the Langyu realm, there was a sly old fox in the magnetite realm. Ming Di, who was known as the strongest expert below the Dao Master, was defeated by magnetite Dao Master. At that time, magnetite Dao Master was not a Dao Master. Long Ming felt that he had to be more cautious. He would return to the true Dragon Clan and discuss with the Supreme Elders before making a decision. After all, a clansman with the divine dragon bloodline was a rare opportunity for the true Dragon Clan to rise. Although the true Dragon Clan was a strong clan in the true martial domain, there were many clans that could compete with the true Dragon Clan. Once a divine king realm expert appeared in the true martial domain, the true Dragon Clan would become the strongest clan in the true martial domain. Along with a burst of rich pill fragrance, Tang Ao had finally refined the dragon saliva pill using the improved pill recipe. This was the third batch of pills that Tang Ao had concocted. The pill had a warm golden jade luster and a mysterious spiritual aura was circulating around it. Tang Ao was amazed when he saw this elixir. This was obviously a first-grade king-grade elixir. However, he did not know what happened. Perhaps it was because this place was in the heavenly fire ruins, but when Tang Ao was refining elixirs, there was no thunder tribulation. Although there was no thunder tribulation, Tang Ao was sure that the elixir he refined was really a first-grade king-grade dragon saliva elixir. If it was an ordinary elixir, some top alchemy masters could analyze the elixir's ingredients and reverse engineer the elixir recipe. However, for a king-grade elixir, even the best alchemy masters could not reverse engineer the elixir recipe. The king-grade elixir had formed a trace of Tao connotation, and the entire elixir was integrated. Once it was damaged, it would collapse immediately. Even with the concealment formation, Long Lon Lon could still smell the fragrance of the king-grade dragon saliva elixir. Long Lon Lon ran over immediately. "Uncle Zhenling, what smells so good?" Tang Ao toyed with the jade bottle containing the king-level dragon saliva pill for a while, before handing it over to Long Lon Lon. With Tang Ao's current skill in alchemy, as long as there was a good flame, Tang Ao could refine such an elixir at any time. Since that was the case, he would give this king-level elixir to Long Lon Lon. "This dragon saliva pill is very special. It has reached the very rare king level. I'll give it to you as a gift," Tang Ao said calmly. However, Tang Ao didn't know that the dragon saliva pill he was refining was the first dragon saliva pill that had reached the king grade. One had to know that the dragon saliva pill was originally created by the human race's top alchemist to fool the dragon race. The alchemist who created the dragon saliva pill was extremely skilled in alchemy, so he was able to create a pill like the dragon saliva pill and even solve the problem of the number of pills. However, after the elixir recipe of the dragon saliva pill was discovered, countless alchemy masters had tried to modify the elixir recipe of the dragon saliva pill. So far, only Tang Ao had succeeded. After Long Lon Lon obtained the king-grade dragon saliva pill, her eyes lit up like stars. Long Lon Lon opened the jade bottle as if she had obtained a treasure. She took a whiff of the dragon saliva pill's scent and carefully set up a seal. Then, she put the king-grade dragon saliva pill away. "Thank you, Uncle Zhenling. However, there aren't many of these stones that you wanted. I'll find all of them for you." Chapter 2288. However, no one had been able to get close to the Five Thunder Heavenly Fire. Naturally, no one knew that the Five Thunder Heavenly Fire had swallowed several thunder tribulations. An hour later, the entire entrance to the Heavenly Fire ruins had been cleared by Long Lon Lon. Soon after, there were more than 4,000 dragon saliva pills in her storage ring. "Uncle Array Spirit, I'm leaving," Long Lon Lon said gratefully as she looked in Tang Ao's direction. "Remember, this is your opportunity. Don't tell anyone about it." Tang Ao did not say anything else. It was as if he had completely disappeared. When she heard Tang Ao's words, Long Lon Lon nodded her head seriously. In fact, anyone who knew a thing or two about elixirs would be able to tell that among the 4,000 dragon saliva pills in Long Lanlan's storage ring, more than 2,000 of them had been refined not long ago. How could an array spirit know how to refine elixirs? Long Lon Lon sensed a familiar aura at the entrance of the Heavenly Fire ruins. She immediately ran into a passageway. Tang Ao had thought that Long Lon Lon was the only member of the dragon tribe in the immortal ruins. However, Tang Ao did not know that there was another martialist from the dragon tribe. This martialist was Long Lanlan's sister. However, Long Lanlan's sister had been among the first batch of martialists to enter the Heavenly Fire ruins. After Long Lon Lon left, Tang Ao also removed the concealment formation. When he felt the temperature of the flame curtain behind him start to drop again, Tang Ao called out to Jin Chun. Immediately, Tang Ao also chose a passageway and walked in. As the temperature of the flame curtain continued to drop, a new batch of martialists quickly arrived at the Heavenly Fire ruins. As soon as everyone entered, they immediately saw the entrance of the ruins that Long Lon Lon had dug out. After seeing this scene, a martialist said with bloodshot eyes, "These beasts that came first are too much. Even the entrance of the ruins has been reduced to such a state. Clearly, they are not leaving any scraps for us to drink." "What is this?" A sharp-eyed martialist discovered a fragment of a scarlet fire crystal. This scarlet fire crystal was too rare. Although the martialist could feel that it was extraordinary, he did not know what it was. Could this be a scarlet fire crystal? However, there was no lack of knowledgeable martialists. Soon, an old man exclaimed and said the name of the scarlet fire crystal. If the old man had not said it, no one would have known that it was a scarlet fire crystal. However, after the old man said it, everyone took a deep breath and looked at the potholes on the ground. The old man was right. This crystal fragment was undoubtedly a scarlet fire crystal. Although they knew that the scarlet fire crystals had already been looted by the first 2 batches of cultivators, they still gritted their teeth and searched carefully. Soon, a second person found the fragments of the scarlet fire crystal. Although the fragments of the scarlet fire crystal were not enough to concoct pills, it could be used together. Chapter 2289. Fortunately, after everyone had found some fragments, they put them away and adjusted their mentality. Then, they continued to fly deeper into the ruins, as if they wanted to catch up with the 2 groups of warriors in front of them. In a lava cave, a beautiful woman with an ice-cold expression was quietly sitting cross-legged. The surrounding hot air would instantly turn cold the moment it got close to her. She sat cross-legged in the magma, but beneath her was a block of ice. Even the scalding magma was frozen by this young lady. Soon, Long Lanlan's voice was heard. "Sister Shaoli, I'm here." When Long Lanlan saw Yen Li sitting in the air above the lava, she immediately pounced on her. Yen Li's originally cold expression immediately softened when she saw Long Lanlan. When she saw Long Lanlan pouncing on her, Yen Li originally wanted to hug her. However, when she saw Long Lanlan covered in dust, her expression changed and she hurriedly retreated. At the same time, an ice wall was pushed out and Long Lanlan lay on top of it. "Sister Shaoli, it hurts." The physique of the dragon race was strong. Such an impact was actually nothing. However, Long Lanlan was too dependent on Yen Li. Ever since she was young, she had always liked to act coquettishly in front of Yen Li. "Lanlan, tell me, did someone bully you? How did you become like this?" Yen Li made a few hand seals and used a few dirt removal spells on Long Lanlan. Then, Yen Li carried Long Lanlan. After hearing Yen Li's question, Long Lanlan immediately jumped down and shook her head like a rattle drum. "Sister Shaoli, look. What is this?" As Long Lanlan spoke, she took out a bottle of dragon saliva pills. She had completely forgotten about Tang Ao's instructions. In fact, although Long Lanlan had acted very obediently, she had not remembered Tang Ao's words at all. This is the dragon saliva pill." After seeing the dragon saliva pill, Yen Li looked at Long Lanlan again. After recalling Long Lanlan's dusty appearance, Yen Li asked uncertainly, "Did you dig this dragon saliva pill out of the ground?" Yes. Long Lanlan nodded at first. Then, she quickly thought of something and shook her head. "Sister Shaoli, I met the formation spirit." "Formation spirit? What formation spirit?" Yen Li was puzzled. "When we entered the Heavenly Flames ruins, there was a formation spirit. Didn't Sister Shaoli notice it?" Long Lanlan said as she told Yen Li about how she exchanged the red fire crystal for the dragon saliva pill. She even told Yen Li about Tang Ao's last words. After Yen Li heard this, she was speechless. This must be an ancient martial art practitioner who was good at concealment arrays. He must have set up a concealment array and hid inside, pretending to be the so-called array spirit, and then tricked Long Lanlan into doing hard labor. Yen Li had also discovered the scarlet fire crystal at the entrance of the Skyfire ruins. However, she had been surrounded by many experts at the time and the scarlet fire crystal wasn't something precious. Therefore, she had ignored it. Yen had seen them. Red of Yen, red flame. Yen they had seen them. Yen Li was delighted to see Long Lanlan exchange the useless red fire crystals for so many dragon saliva pills. Chapter 2290. Yenli was shocked when she saw the pills that Tang Ao had concocted. She took one out and swallowed it. Her eyes were filled with disbelief. This was because the dragon saliva pill that Tang Ao had concocted could unleash a terrifying 60% of its medicinal effect. One must know that the dragon saliva pill could only unleash 20% to 30% of its medicinal effects even after countless years of hard work. This man is actually an incredible pill refiner. Yenli sighed in her heart. At this time, Yenli also understood why Tang Ao asked Long Lanlan to dig out all the scarlet fire crystals. The scarlet fire crystals were not very useful to others, but it was very meaningful to an alchemist. The scarlet fire crystals could release flames that were comparable to grade 4 immortal flames. Moreover, they were easy to control and were very suitable for concocting pills. Sister Shaoli, what do you think this is? As Long Lanlan spoke, she took out the king-grade immortal pill that Tang Ao had given her and handed it to Yenli proudly. After seeing the pill, Yenli's heart was in turmoil. Even though Yenli was not an alchemist, Yenli was certain that this king-grade immortal pill would not have taken more than 4 hours to concoct. Yenli felt as though she was about to suffocate. To think that there would be an alchemist who could concoct a dragon saliva pill of this grade. Yenli was certain that she was not mistaken. This was a grade 1 king-grade dragon saliva pill. The origin of the dragon saliva pill was not simple. It was said that the dragon saliva pill was a bet between the dragon race's ancestor and a human race's pill emperor. After the pill emperor lost the bet, he followed the dragon race's ancestor's request and went into seclusion for 1,000 years to research a pill that was extremely beneficial to the dragon race. Back then, the dragon race's ancestor had made 3 requests. The first was that this pill had to be effective for the dragon race and the dragon race's collateral relative. The second was that this pill had to be easy to concoct. Even the dragon race's pill refiners would be able to concoct it. The third was that this pill had to be produced in large quantities. In the end, even though the human race pill emperor managed to create the dragon saliva pill, he was still unconvinced. Therefore, he created 2 pill formulas. These 2 pill recipes were for the dragon saliva pill. The one that the dragon clan obtained fulfilled all the requirements of the dragon clan's ancestor. However, there was a very obvious flaw. The dragon saliva pill that was refined like this could only unleash about 10% of its medicinal effect. As for the human race pill emperor's other pill formula, it could allow the dragon saliva pill to exhibit 60% of its medicinal effects. That human race pill emperor invited the dragon race primogenitor for another bet. In the end, the dragon race primogenitor lost, and the supreme treasure of the dragon race, the heaven and earth furnace, was obtained by this human race pill emperor. After taking away the heaven and earth furnace, the dragon race was willing to pay a huge price in exchange for the other pill formula in the hands of this human race pill emperor. However, this human race pill emperor left. Even though the primogenitor dragon emperor was strong, that human race pill emperor was no pushover either. If the other party wanted to leave, not even the dragon race's progenitor could stop him. Yenli thought back to the dragon clan's past and looked at the pill in her hand. She was lost in thought. But soon Yenli's gaze flickered. I know who he is. Compared to the slightly clumsy Long Lanlan, Yenli was far too smart. If she hadn't seen the king-grade immortal pill Tang Ao had given Long Lanlan, Yenli wouldn't have known who had refined these pills. But after seeing this king-grade immortal pill, Yenli immediately remembered that there was only one person in South Ruin City who could refine king-grade immortal pills, and that person was Tang Ao of the 9 Moon Pill Pavilion. Chapter 2291. Tang Ao, it's you. After confirming that this pill was refined by Tang Ao, Yenli even suspected that Tang Ao was the reincarnation of the human race's pill emperor. If that was the case, many things could be understood. When Tang Ao was refining the Purple Heart pill in South Ruin City, Yenli had also seen it. At that time, Yenli had been secretly envious of how the human race could always produce so many genius pill refiners. However, if Tang Ao was the reincarnation of a pill emperor, then refining a mere first-grade king-grade immortal pill was nothing. Of course, Tang Ao didn't know that Yenli had already regarded him as the reincarnation of a top-notch pill emperor. Although Tang Ao's master, Yun Xiaoyao, was a top-notch pill emperor, Tang Ao himself was still miles away from becoming one. Big brother Tang Ao, it's scorching hot here. Where are we going? Jin Chun took the demon-slaying saber off his back and held it in his hand. The demon-slaying saber had been completely refined by Jin Chun. Before Jin Chun fully activated it, the demon-slaying saber still looked like the mountain-reaping saber. However, once Jin Chun fully activated it, the demon-slaying saber would immediately radiate its sharpness. This direction. Let's go. Tang Ao summoned the nether flame. After using it to sense the surroundings, Tang Ao led Jin Chun in a certain direction. Now that the nether flame was a 9th-grade spirit fire, the thing it desired the most was the 9-colored heaven fire crystal. Therefore, the nether flame had a special reaction to the 9-colored heaven fire crystal. Under the nether flame's guidance, Tang Ao followed the direction indicated by the nether flame to search for the 9-colored heaven fire crystal. At this time, Tang Ao had already arrived at the central area of the heavenly fire ruins. There was lava and heat everywhere. The deeper they went, the more terrifying the heat became. Therefore, other than a few strong martial practitioners, most of the martial practitioners stayed in this area. With a thought, Tang Ao released Little Flame from the chaotic 6-light mirror. After a brief conversation with Little Flame jumped into the magma pool like a fish in water. Without any hesitation, Little Flame dived deep into the magma pool. Even 3rd and 4th level astral-reaching realm warriors would not dare to go deep into the magma pool. However, Little Flame did not have any obstacles in the magma pool at all. After releasing Little Flame, Tang Ao continued to move in the direction that the Netherworld Flame had sensed. Not long after Tang Ao left, he frowned. This was because not far away from them, there were many martial artists fighting fiercely. Tang Ao didn't want to participate in this matter. Tang Ao just wanted to obtain the 9-colored heaven fire crystal to advance the Netherworld Flame. After obtaining the 9-colored heaven fire crystal, in addition to the glazed flame amber in Tang Ao's hands, Tang Ao's Netherworld Flame would immediately advance to a 3rd-grade immortal flame. Although Tang Ao had a lot of scarlet fire crystals, which could even produce a 4th-grade immortal flame, they were, after all, consumables. Once they were used up, they would be gone. Therefore, Tang Ao had to advance the Netherworld Flame to a 3rd-grade immortal flame or even higher in order to keep up with his alchemy progress. Right now, when Tang Ao used the 9th-grade Spirit Flame Netherworld Flame to refine pills, he already felt inferior. However, when Tang Ao wanted to avoid this group of martial practitioners and take a detour, they also discovered Tang Ao. Chapter 2292. Tang Ao was taken aback. Tang Ao could not figure out how these people knew that he had scarlet fire crystals. Only Tang Ao himself knew that Tang Ao had scarlet fire crystals. Even Long Lon Lon did not know where the scarlet fire crystals that she had dug out went. Soon, Tang Ao realized what was going on. Because that warrior had said that he was the first of the 2nd batch of warriors to come in. Tang Ao immediately understood that these warriors had most likely entered the heavenly fire ruins later. They had seen the huge pit at the entrance and found some scarlet fire crystal fragments the moment they entered. Therefore, these people had mistakenly thought that the warriors who came in earlier had dug out all the scarlet fire crystals. Tang Ao wanted to explain that he was not the first one to come in, but Tang Ao knew that it would be useless. At this moment, he could just leave. As for the truth of the matter, after a period of time, These martial artists would immediately understand after encountering more martial artists from the second batch that came in. Therefore, after informing Jin Chen, Tang Ao's figure flashed, and he immediately left. He wants to run. We can't let him get away. Damn it. Stop him. He must have the most scarlet fire crystals. Friend, I am willing to pay a high price to buy 10 scarlet fire crystals from you. Brat, hand over your scarlet fire crystals, and I will make sure you live. Suddenly, all kinds of voices could be heard, but Tang Ao did not pay any attention to them. Tang Ao's soul remembrance was powerful, and he had the netherworld fire to protect his body, so he could move freely in this ruin. Jin Chen's peak astral reaching realm level 9 cultivation base was also revealed at this moment. The surrounding flames and heat waves could not hurt him at all. After a while, more and more people could catch up to Tang Ao and Jin Chen. Half an hour later, there was no one behind Tang Ao and Jin Chen. Although he did not lose anything, Tang Ao was very depressed. If he had known that something like this would happen, Tang Ao would have burnt all the fragments of the red fire crystals before he left. Originally, Tang Ao hadn't been too far from the 9-colored skyfire crystal. Now that he had made a huge detour, he was now 5 times further away from the crystal. Although he was feeling depressed, Tang Ao still quickly moved towards the 9-colored sky-fire crystal. As he approached, Tang Ao discovered that the location of the 9-colored skyfire crystal was in the depths of the skyfire ruins. After arriving here, Tang Ao could already see a ball of thunder fire suspended in the distant sky. This thunder fire was everyone's target, the 5 thunder heavenly fire. However, after sensing the terrifying temperature of the 5 thunders skyfire, Tang Ao shook his head inwardly. Without a special treasure, it was impossible to obtain this violent 5 thunder skyfire. Of course, if Tang Ao's netherworld flame evolved into a 3rd-grade immortal flame, then Tang Ao could reluctantly give it a try. Tang Ao saw that in the depths of the skyfire ruins, the number of martial artists had clearly decreased. Apart from Tang Ao, the weakest martial artist here had a cultivation base of 4th-level astral reaching realm. Due to Tang Ao's 9 dragons Emperor Jade body, no one here could see through Tang Ao's cultivation base. Just as Tang Ao was about to continue deeper, a sky-shaking roar suddenly came from the distance. Soon after, numerous figures rushed out from the distant passage as if they didn't care about their lives. Tang Ao used his sky extreme pupils to look into the distance, and his expression immediately changed. Brother Chen, run. Chapter 2293. Tang Ao did not expect that there would be such a terrifying demonic beast in the Heaven Fire ruins. Tang Ao also recognized the demonic beast. It was the size of a hill and looked like a lion. It was called the Celestial Thunder Lion. The Celestial Thunder Lion's cultivation had reached Yin-Yang Realm Level 3. However, for some reason, the Celestial Thunder Lion's spiritual wisdom had not been activated. Even so, it did not affect its merciless killing. Tang Ao saw that there were even 2 Yin-Yang Realm Level 1 warriors in the depths of the Heaven Fire ruins. However, they could only run away from the Celestial Thunder Lion. One of the Yin-Yang Realm Level 1 warriors ran a little slower and was bitten in half by the Celestial Thunder Lion. Seeing this scene, countless warriors fled even more frantically. In the chaos, Tang Ao and Jin Chen were also scattered by the crazy crowd. However, Tang Ao was relieved when he saw that Jin Chen had escaped far away. Tang Ao immediately summoned the Wind Thunder Dark Cloud and was about to escape into the distance. However, Tang Ao's escaping figure quickly stopped. Immediately, Tang Ao took out a jade box containing a psyche imprint. This psyche imprint was the one Tang Ao had extracted from the other 3 psyche imprints and had been sealed by Tang Ao with a restriction. Now, with a jolt of spiritual power in Tang Ao's hand, the jade box instantly shattered. At the same time, the restriction on the psyche imprint disappeared. Then, without hesitation, Tang Ao took out the primordial sacred sky bow and shot the imitation Psyche imprint on the celestial thunder lion. Seeing that Tang Ao dared to provoke it, the celestial thunder lion immediately let out a thunderous roar. In the floating palace of the ruins of Immortality's Elders Association, Lu Hua suddenly looked happy and instantly looked in the direction of the Heaven Fire ruins. Lu Hua was stunned when he saw the Heavenly Fire ruins. Just now, Lu Hua clearly felt the aura from the Psyche imprint on Tang Ao's body. Although he did not understand how Tang Ao could enter the Heaven Fire ruins, Lu Hua spread his body and flew toward the Heaven Fire ruins. The Elders Association of the Ruins of Immortality naturally knew that there was a 5 lightning heavenly fire in the Heaven Fire ruins. In fact, several of them had even tried, but no one had the ability to subdue it. It was also because of this that no one cared about the martial practitioners of South Ruins City and North Ruins City going to the Heavenly Fire ruins. After all, in their opinion, if even they didn't have the ability to subdue the Heavenly Fire, then no one else could. After Lu Hua left, they did not care too much. When they found out that Lu Hua was heading towards the Heavenly Fire ruins, the other elders shook their heads. Among the 9 elders of the Ruins of Immortality's Elders' Council, Lu Hua was the weakest. Even the few of them did not have the ability to obtain the 5 lightning skyfire, let alone Lu Hua. Lu Hua was the weakest among the 9 great elders of the Ruins of Immortality's Elders Association. If even they did not have the ability to obtain the 5 lightning heavenly fire, it was even more impossible for Lu Hua. Lu Hua also looked at the floating palace and sneered. Compared to the heavenly law talisman, the 5 lightning heavenly fire was nothing. Therefore, after sensing Tang Ao's aura in the Heavenly Fire ruins, Lu Hua knew that the Heavenly Dao talisman was already his. Inside the Heaven Fire ruins, after Tang Ao attacked the Celestial Thunder Lion, the lion was immediately angered by Tang Ao. At this time, the Celestial Thunder Lion did not even chase after others. It only chased after Tang Ao. If not for the speed of Tang Ao's Wind Thunder Nether Cloud, Tang Ao would have been struck by the lightning summoned by the Celestial Thunder Lion. Chapter 2294. However, the Heavenly Handle Thunder Lion was tightly clinging to Tang Ao. Tang Ao didn't even have a chance to escape. Boom! The Heavenly Handle Thunder Lion roared again, and a millstone-sized golden lightning ball rumbled towards Tang Ao. Seeing that there was no one around, Tang Ao summoned the sky-raising needle to block. However, although the sky-raising needle was powerful, Tang Ao's cultivation was too weak. After the sky-raising needle blocked the lightning ball, Tang Ao was still pushed away by the lightning ball. When Tang Ao sensed the power of thunder passing through the heaven-raising divine needle, he put away the heaven-raising divine needle and hid in the primal chaos hexagram mirror. The golden lightning ball didn't stop it and naturally smashed into the primal chaos 6 light mirror. When the golden lightning ball knocked the primal chaos 6 light mirror away, the golden lightning ball's power was slowly absorbed by the primal chaos 6 light mirror. Gotcha! A sound rang out. Tang Ao was shocked. Tang Ao hastily looked around and thought that although the lightning ball was powerful, it shouldn't have been able to shatter the primal chaos 6 light mirror. Very quickly, Tang Ao discovered that he was overthinking. The primal chaos 6 light mirror's space was still very stable. The crisp sound just now was from the primal chaos 6 light mirror being hit by the golden lightning ball and shattering a restriction. Tang Ao swept out with his soul remembrance, and immediately discovered that the restriction that had been shattered by the primal chaos 6 light mirror had already repaired itself. At the same time, Tang Ao discovered that he had arrived in a special space. After discovering that there was no danger here, Tang Ao's figure flashed and instantly appeared outside the primal chaos 6 light mirror. The primal chaos 6 light mirror transformed into a white light and flew back into Tang Ao's body. When Tang Ao came out, he was immediately shocked. That was because Tang Ao could smell an extremely dense pill fragrance in this place. This pill fragrance didn't dissipate for a long time, as if it contained the mysteries of heaven and earth. Sigh. Just as Tang Ao was looking around, a sigh sounded. This sigh contained loneliness, regret, sorrow, and too many emotions. This voice was very old, as if it had been here for countless years. Someone's finally here. As Tang Ao searched for the voice spoke again. This time, Tang Ao confirmed the direction the sound came from. When his soul remembrance searched over, he was shocked. This was because Tang Ao's soul remembrance had scanned a white-clothed old man who had already passed away. This white-clothed old man had a ball of divine remembrance gathered in front of him. The voice just now came from this divine sense. Junior mistakenly entered this place and disturbed Senior's rest. Junior will leave now. Facing an existence of this level, Tang Ao was no longer as relaxed as before. This old antique that had existed for tens of thousands of years, even if it was just a strand of divine remembrance, probably wasn't something the current Tang Ao could deal with. Since you've come, I should give you my inheritance. Why are you in such a hurry to leave? At the same time this voice came out, a terrifying spiritual power also came out. Tang Ao wanted to resist, but he was immediately swept up by this spiritual power. Then, this powerful spiritual power brought Tang Ao to kneel on the praying mat in front of the old man, causing Tang Ao to feel extremely depressed. Chapter 2295. At this moment, Tang Ao was shocked to see that the spirit aura in front of the white-clothed old man had once again returned to the white-clothed old man's body. Then, the white-clothed old man who had been sitting in meditation for thousands of years opened his eyes again and slowly stood up. Then, the white-clothed old man proudly said, "I am Pill Sage Green Rock." Hearing the words Pill Sage Green Rock, Tang Ao's mind buzzed like thunder. Generally speaking, the grade of the immortal pills an alchemist could refine would determine the grade of the alchemist. If an alchemist could refine a grade 9 immortal pill, he would be respected as a pill emperor. Only a pill emperor who could refine a grade 9 immortal pill would be respected as a pill sage. For thousands of years, alchemy geniuses had emerged endlessly in the true martial domain. There weren't many pill emperors, but there were dozens of them. However, a pill sage was different. In the records of the true martial domain, there had only been one pill sage, and that was Pill Sage Green Rock. Tang Ao had never imagined that he would meet such a legendary figure. Strictly speaking, Pill Sage Green Rock was Tang Ao's master. The Shennong Emperor was Pill Sage Green Rock's disciple, and Tang Ao was the Shennong Emperor's disciple. Tang Ao bowed to the Pill Sage as he thought of this. Disciple Tang Ao greets Master. Pill Sage Green Rock was about to speak when he heard Tang Ao's words. A trace of doubt flashed in Pill Sage Green Rock's eyes. This time, Tang Ao took out the Shennong Cauldron. The Shennong Cauldron was the token of the Shennong Emperor. This disciple is the disciple of the Shennong Emperor. Therefore, Senior is this disciple's master. Tang Ao was overjoyed when he thought of his relationship with Pill Sage Green Rock. Pill Sage Green Rock was the only pill sage in the true martial domain for thousands of years. His alchemy skills were profound, and he had many secret alchemy techniques. In addition, Pill Sage Green Rock had many alchemy treasures. Although Tang Ao had the Shennong Cauldron, no one would complain about having too many alchemy treasures. Pill Sage Green Rock had left behind an inheritance remnant here. Now that he was his grand disciple, if there was anything good, he would naturally have to give it to him. Indeed, when Pill Sage Green Rock saw Tang Ao take out the Shennong Cauldron, a trace of reminiscence and nostalgia appeared in his eyes. Pill Saint Green Rock had 3 disciples. His first and second disciples had both died along the way. Only his youngest disciple, Shino, had inherited his Tao of alchemy. But now that he saw the Shennong Cauldron, Pil Saint Green Rock's heart thumped. It was obvious that all 3 of his disciples had perished. Thinking of this, the Green Rock Pil Saint's sorrow could not be stopped. As Tang Ao knelt on the futon, he could even feel Pil Sage Green Rock's sorrowful emotions. This mood lasted for an unknown period of time. At some point, Pil Saint Green Rock's eyes suddenly flashed as he looked at Tang Ao. Although the Shennong Emperor had fallen, he had left behind his legacy. The person before him, Tang Ao, was the last successor of his Tao of Alchemy. As long as Tang Ao was still alive, his Tao of Alchemy would not be considered to be lost. "Get up," Pil Sage Green Rock said calmly. Then, he looked at Tang Ao and said, "Refine a cauldron of dragon saliva pills for me to see." Tang Ao's heart was filled with disbelief. It was not because Pil Sage Green Rock wanted to see him refine pills, but because he wanted him to refine the dragon saliva pill. Although Tang Ao could easily refine other elixirs, the dragon saliva pill was different from other elixirs. However, the dragon saliva pill was different from other pills because the dragon saliva pill was personally deduced by Tang Ao not long ago. No, his little disciple knew that this matter was his sore point, so even if the Shennong Emperor had the ability to create a new elixir recipe, the Shennong Emperor would not do it. If it wasn't the Shennong Emperor, then who was the alchemist who created the new pill formula? Could it be that after his death, a new Pil Saint was born? Even though he was filled with doubts, Pil Saint Greenrock did not disturb Tang Ao from refining the dragon saliva pill. Instead, he watched quietly from the side. Pil Saint Greenrock frowned when he saw Tang Ao take out a scarlet fire crystal. "Since you're Shennong's disciple, don't you have your own pill fire? Do you need the help of external items?" Tang Ao was waiting for these words. At this moment, Tang Ao was secretly elated. However, his face revealed a bitter expression. "Ancestor, your grand disciple is suffering." Tang Ao sighed as he put down the immortal herbs in his hand. Chapter 2297. The rest of the Green Rock Pill Path's disciples were just disciples of Shennong Emperor's trio and their disciples. Even so, the Green Rock Pill Path was the holy land of the true martial domain's pill path. There were all kinds of alchemy manuals, top-notch pill furnaces, top-notch flames, top-notch immortal herbs. But now, this grand disciple of his didn't even have his own alchemy fire. This made Pil Saint Greenrock feel very embarrassed. "Master, this grand disciple cultivated all the way to the true martial domain from a low-level place." Tang Ao told Pil Saint Greenrock about his tragic experience in cultivation. Listening to Tang Ao's story, Pil Saint Greenrock couldn't help but feel sad. Pil Saint Greenrock didn't expect that his Green Rock Pill Path would decline to this point. As his third-generation grand disciple, Tang Ao had to use external items like scarlet fire crystals to refine pills. Later on, Pil Saint Greenrock even heard that a junior like Yuan Wu dared to threaten his grand disciple. Not to mention Yuan Wu, even Yuan Wu's master Yuan Yin didn't dare to be presumptuous in front of him. The more Pil Saint Greenrock heard, the angrier he got. He even pinched off a strand of his beard. "There's no need to say any more. Summon your alchemy fire for me to see." Pil Saint Greenrock interrupted Tang Ao. With Tang Ao's embellishment, Tang Ao's situation was too tragic. Pil Saint Greenrock was disappointed when he thought about the decline of the Green Rock Pill Path. When Tang Ao heard Pil Saint Greenrock's words, he immediately became spirited and immediately summoned the Netherworld Flame. After summoning the Netherworld Flame, Tang Ao thought to himself, "Fortunately, my Netherworld Flame is only a grade 9 spiritual fire. If it advanced to a grade 3 immortal flame, it would be hard to justify himself." Pil Saint Greenrock laughed when he saw Tang Ao's Netherworld Flame. "Netherworld Flame? This is easy. This item is called Brilliant Flame Amber. It can help you advance your netherworld flame from a grade 1 immortal flame to a grade 3 immortal flame. When Tang Ao saw Pill Sage Green Rock take out 3 pieces of glazed flame amber from his storage ring, his eyes widened. However, Tang Ao immediately felt depressed. Previously, in order to obtain a piece of glazed flame amber, Tang Ao could be said to have put in a lot of effort and used all sorts of methods to obtain it. But now, Pill Sage Green Rock had casually handed 3 pieces to him. But what Tang Ao wanted to say was that even though this glazed flame amber was a treasure, it was useless to have more of it. The glazed flame amber's only use was to evolve a grade 1 immortal flame to a grade 3 immortal flame. Even if Tang Ao was extremely wealthy, he couldn't possibly nurture 3 bundles of pill fires at the same time. Adding these 3 pieces of glazed flame amber, Tang Ao now had 4 pieces of glazed flame amber on him. Although he was depressed, Tang Ao still had to put on a pleasantly surprised expression. If Tang Ao dared to say that he had a piece of glazed flame amber on him now, he would be asking for a beating. Ancestor, disciple has just arrived in the immortal ruins, and I don't know if there are any 9-colored heaven fire crystals here. Could Ancestor reward me with another one? Tang Ao looked at Pill Sage Green Rock with anticipation. Pill Sage Green Rock frowned and began to search. But very quickly, Pill Sage Green Rock shook his head. This old man has fallen for tens of thousands of years. The 9-colored heaven fire crystal can only exist for 3,000 years. Even if it's preserved well, it will not last more than 10,000 years. This old man had no less than 100 9-colored heaven fire crystals, but I don't have any more now. Chapter 2298. With a jolt of spiritual power, the immortal spirit herb immediately shattered and a drop of crystalline liquid fell into the Shenong cauldron. Tang Ao extended his soul remembrance and directly controlled the pill fire to wrap around the drop of liquid essence. Subsequently, the drop of liquid essence was also slowly refined in the pill fire. Tang Ao's hands did not stop moving as he continued to process the immortal spirit herbs and throw them into the Shenong cauldron. His actions were as smooth as flowing water. It was obvious that Tang Ao had put in a lot of effort into alchemy. Seeing Tang Ao's smooth progress, Pill Saint Green Rock nodded approvingly. It was unknown who created the pill recipe Tang Ao was using. However, with Pill Saint Green Rock's insight, he could naturally see that this pill recipe was very reasonable. If he wasn't mistaken, there would be no problem in refining pills with this recipe. However, there was one problem. Using this recipe to refine pills was too difficult. Even human alchemists or Yao clan alchemists would find it difficult to use this recipe to refine pills, let alone Dragon clan alchemists who were naturally not adept at alchemy. After observing for a while, Pill Saint Green Rock concluded that in order to use this recipe to refine pills, only first-grade alchemists at the first-grade alchemist level would be able to use it. Seeing that Tang Ao was still confident in using such a recipe, Pill Saint Green Rock nodded inwardly and looked at Tang Ao with even more satisfaction. Although Green Rock's alchemy path had declined, the alchemy skills of the only successor of Green Rock's alchemy path were not bad. This made Pill Saint Green Rock feel very gratified. In reality, according to Tang Ao's alchemy habits, Tang Ao also liked to throw all the immortal spirit herbs into the Shenong cauldron to refine pills like this. However, this method of alchemy was too shocking, so Tang Ao chose a normal method of alchemy. However, Tang Ao's normal method of alchemy became a strict rule in Pill Saint Green Rock's eyes. It was a strict rule of alchemy. This kid is extraordinary, Pill Saint Green Rock exclaimed in a low voice. There was a faint look of anticipation in his eyes. The reason why Pill Saint Green Rock had accepted 3 disciples in his life was because he had always adhered to the principle that he would rather have nothing than a substandard disciple. Pil Saint Greenrock felt that it wasn't the more disciples a sect had, the better it would be. Only the most talented disciples could become a disciple. The Shennong Emperor adhered to Pil sage Qin Yan's philosophy, so before the Shennong Emperor fell, he had never accepted a disciple. It was only many years after his death that he accepted Tang Ao as his successor. Tang Ao naturally did not know about these matters of the Green Rock Pil Dao. At this moment, Tang Ao was fully immersed in refining pills. From Tang Ao's point of view, alchemy was a very enjoyable thing, especially when he was completely immersed in alchemy. The feeling of forgetting the divine and mortal, the feeling of nature, made people linger. Pil Saint Greenrock's eyes widened when he saw that Tang Ao was completely immersed in alchemy at the level of a first-grade alchemy master. This kind of alchemy state, where one forgets both the divine and mortal, is called the state of alchemy enlightenment. In this state, alchemists are usually able to refine some shocking pills. Chapter 2299. This meant that Tang Ao had been wholeheartedly focused on alchemy for a very long time, wholeheartedly devoting himself to it. Over the years, Tang Ao had formed a habit of entering the state of alchemy every time he refined pills. This was something that could only be discovered by chance, although it was possible for a pill master to reach this state with constant effort. Generally speaking, only grade 7 alchemy masters and above could have such an alchemy state. However, Tang Ao was able to enter the alchemy enlightenment state when he was only a grade 1 alchemy master. This showed how persistent Tang Ao's Dao heart was. Tang Ao's future achievements in Pil Dao were also limitless. The path of Pil Dao was infinitely mysterious. However, only hard work and comprehension could allow one to go further and reach higher heights in Pil Dao. While Tang Ao was refining pills in Pil Saint Greenrock's secret realm, Lu Hua arrived outside the Heavenly Fire ruins. Lu Hua's eyes shone with joy when he felt his soul imprint grow clearer. In this moment, Lu Hua felt not his own soul imprint, but the aura of the Heavenly Law Talisman. After Lu Hua's investigation, he was very sure that Tang Ao was the leader of Tang Ao's group. The treasures were definitely with Tang Ao. If there were no accidents, there was a 90% chance that the Heavenly Law Talisman was with Tang Ao. As long as he captured Tang Ao, he would be able to obtain the Heavenly Law Talisman without anyone noticing. After obtaining the Heavenly Law Talisman, he immediately returned to Langya Realm to cultivate in seclusion. When he completely refined the Heavenly Law Talisman, even the Realm Master of Langya Realm would have to give him some respect. The more Lu Hua thought about it, the more he looked forward to it. Lu Hua's eyes even shone with a frightening red light. Lu Hua's breathing quickened. Elder Lu Hua. Greetings, Senior Lu. When Lu Hua arrived at the entrance of the Heavenly Fire ruins, the martial practitioners of both South Ruins City and North Ruins City immediately bowed to him. Lu Hua completely ignored these people. Of course, no one dared to say anything about Lu Hua's actions. When Lu Hua saw the flame curtain at the entrance of the relic, he hesitated for a moment before stopping. If he were to force his way through this level of flame curtain, he would have to pay a huge price. Now that he could clearly feel the location of the soul remembrance imprint, even if he longed for the Heavenly Dao Talisman, he wasn't in a rush. However, Lu Hua quickly remembered that Tang Ao was a level 1 king-grade alchemist. Who knew how many people were eyeing Tang Ao? If Tang Ao was killed by someone else and the Heavenly Talisman was taken away, he would have to spend a lot of effort to find the Heavenly Talisman. Furthermore, if the Heavenly Dao Talisman wasn't on Tang Ao, he wouldn't be able to search his soul after Tang Ao died. Thinking of this, Lu Hua felt his heart ache. After that, Lu Hua gritted his teeth and withdrew a jade box from his storage ring. With a jolt of spiritual energy, the jade box was shattered by Lu Hua. Soon after, An azure talisman appeared in Lu Hua's hand. Lu Hua formed a hand seal, and the talisman immediately flew out. Boom! The moment the talisman and the flame curtain collided, the flame curtain was forcefully shattered by the talisman. The scene left everyone dumbfounded. The heavenly fire relic was no longer obstructed by the curtain of flames, so it appeared directly in front of everyone. Everyone cupped their fists and thanked Lu Hua. "Thank you, Senior Lu Hua." Chapter 2300. Lu Hua's eyelids twitched the moment he stepped into the heavenly fire ruins. He could clearly see that the entrance to the heavenly fire ruins looked like it had been plowed. Every inch of soil within 10 meters of the entrance had been turned over. Lu Hua was secretly anxious when he saw this. These martial practitioners from South Ruins City and North Ruins City were clearly in a killing frenzy. They were a pack of vicious wolves that had never seen a treasure before. This was the entrance to the ruins, but it was already being searched inch by inch. If these martial practitioners encountered Tang Ao inside the ruins, Tang Ao would definitely die without a doubt. He might even die without a complete corpse. Lu Hua was even more certain that his decision was correct when he thought up to this point. He closed his eyes and felt that the soul imprint was still moving. Lu Hua relaxed. Lu Hua wanted to kill Tang Ao more than anyone else, but he had to obtain the Heavenly Law Talisman before he killed Tang Ao. In fact, if Tang Ao offered up the Heavenly Law Talisman of his own accord, Lu Hua could even erase Tang Ao's consciousness and spare his life. Thinking of this, Lu Hua also instantly flew out and flew towards the location of his remembrance imprint. Before he even got close, Lu Hua saw a large group of martial practitioners frantically fleeing. Many of these martial practitioners recognized Lu Hua. When they saw him, they felt as if they had grasped onto a life-saving straw. "What's going on?" Lu Hua asked in an icy voice. He felt a terrifying aura in front of him. The strength of this aura was not inferior to his own. "Senior Lu, a heavenly handle thunder lion has appeared in the ruins out of nowhere. It's currently killing all the martial practitioners that have entered the heavenly fire ruins," a young man said with a trembling voice. Lu Hua's heart tightened when he heard this. He could sense that his soul imprint was extremely close to the heavenly handle thunder lion. "Damn it!" Lu Hua cursed inwardly and immediately fled toward the heavenly handle thunder lion's location. Lu Hua was truly afraid that the heavenly handle thunder lion would swallow Tang Ao in one gulp. If that happened, it would be even more difficult for him to obtain the Heavenly Law Talisman. The Heavenly Law Talisman wouldn't be refined in the Heavenly Handle Thunder Lion's stomach, but if he wanted to obtain the Heavenly Law Talisman, he would have to cut open the Heavenly Handle Thunder Lion's stomach. Although Lu Hua was conceited, he wasn't conceited to that extent. This Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion was of the same cultivation level as him. It was definitely not an easy task for Lu Hua to deal with this Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion. Therefore, Lu Hua could only look forward to Tang Ao now. He hoped that Tang Ao would not be killed by the Astral Thunder Lion. Within Pill St. Green Rock's secret realm, as Tang Ao slammed out one complicated pill technique after another, stalk after stalk of immortal spiritual herbs were rapidly refined. Ever since Tang Ao used the Scarlet Fire Crystal as his alchemy fire, he started to like the Scarlet Fire Crystal even more. Using a high-grade immortal flame to refine pills and using the Netherworld flame to refine pills could be said to be a world of difference. When using the Netherworld flame to concoct pills, it was very strenuous to refine the immortal spirit grass. It was also very difficult to refine the medicinal liquid and remove the impurities, requiring a lot of soul remembrance and spiritual power. Moreover, it would take a long time to refine the pill. Moreover, with the increase of Tang Ao alchemy's quality requirements, the Netherworld flame was already unable to do as it wished. Chapter 2301. Many immortal spiritual herbs could be refined with just a single sweep of the flame. Tang Ao had previously used the Scarlet Fire Crystal's pill fire to refine low-grade elixirs. Tang Ao only needed to throw all the spiritual herbs into the cauldron, and the pill fire condensed by the Scarlet Fire Crystal would form the embryonic form of the elixir. After a few pill techniques, the elixir would be refined immediately. Even Tang Ao himself felt that this method was unbelievable. Tang Ao's refinement of the Scarlet Fire Crystal's pill fire was smooth as usual. This time, Tang Ao was also refining a Grade 1 King-grade Dragon Saliva pill. Although it was still a Grade 1 Immortal pill, the difficulty of refining it was comparable to many Grade 2 Immortal pills. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that it was a Grade 2 Immortal pill. In Alchemy Sage Greenrock's opinion, even when he was a Grade 1 alchemy master, he would have to study for a period of time to refine such an elixir. Far away from Alchemy Sage Greenrock's mystic realm, a figure covered in black smoke was hiding in a cave abode. Yi Qiuqing's heart sank. He had known about the existence of the Celestial Flames relic when he first came to the Immortal Ruins. However, he had been cultivating in the Celestial Flames relic for thousands of years, and the relic had never erupted. This time, he didn't know which little bastard had lusted for the 5 lightning heavenly fire and detonated the heavenly fire ruins. Yi Qiuqing wasn't too worried after the heavenly fire ruins exploded. He only moved his cave abode, which was originally at the periphery of the heavenly fire ruins, to the center of the ruins. However, Yi Qiuqing hadn't expected that some reckless fellow would actually barge into the lightning pool and lure the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion out. If Yi Qiuqing had been at his peak, the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion would have been just a docile puppy. However, Yi Qiuqing wasn't a match for it now. When Yi Qiuqing was cultivating in his cave abode, the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion had suddenly leaped out. In the end, Yi Qiuqing was unlucky enough to be chased by the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion. As a former Turbid Heaven Realm Great Emperor, Yi Qiuqing was furious and used a secret technique to fight the Heavenly Astral Thunder Lion. As a result, Yi Qiuqing was naturally beaten up by the Heavenly Astral Thunder Lion. Yi Qiuqing swore to himself that he would not leave the depths of the Heavenly Fire Ruins until he restored his cultivation to the Yin-Yang realm. Yi Qiuqing swore to himself that once his cultivation recovered, he would definitely use this stupid lion to stew and drink it. Yi Qiuqing shot a glance in the direction of South Ruin City when he thought about recovering his cultivation. It could be said that Tang Ao was Yi Qiuqing's last hope. Only when Tang Ao refined the 9 transformations Heaven Reversal Elixir could his cultivation recover. Yi Qiuqing had high hopes for Tang Ao. Ho! Lu Hua followed his soul remembrance imprint and immediately saw the Heavenly Star Thunder Lion roaring at the sky. Although Yi Qiuqing had been beaten up by the Heavenly Star Thunder Lion, the lion was also beaten to a sorry state. Although Yi Qiuqing was only at the peak of astral reaching realm level 9, as a former Turbid Heaven Realm expert, he could still deal with the Yin-Yang Realm level 3 Heavenly Star Thunder Lion with a secret technique. However, Yi Qiuqing's secret technique could only last for a limited time. After the secret technique lost its effect, Yi Qiuqing was beaten up by the lion. Chapter 2302. In reality, Lu Hua had wrongly accused the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion. The lightning on the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion's body was constantly circulating. Previously, Tang Ao had only imprinted a remembrance imprint on the surface of the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion's body. However, as the lightning circulated, this remembrance imprint flowed into the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion's body, causing Lu Hua to mistakenly believe that Tang Ao had been devoured by the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion. Lu Hua beckoned with his hand as a Yiksha Life Soul appeared in front of him. The Yiksha Life Soul stepped on a one-eyed whale and held a trident in its hand. It looked extraordinary. This was originally a place filled with volcanic magma, but after the Yiksha Life Soul appeared, it slowly turned into an ocean. The surrounding martial artists, who were about to lose their lives in the mouth of the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion, had tears in their eyes when they saw this scene. I originally thought that Elder Lu Hua was a cold and aloof person, but who would have thought that Elder Lu Hua was actually such a righteous senior? That's right. We were in trouble at the Heavenly Fire Ruins. No other seniors came to save us. Only Senior Lu Hua came to save us. Long live Senior Lu Hua! Lu Hua listened to these surrounding martial artists' flattering words, and his expression darkened even more. If not for the Heavenly Tao Talisman, whether these martial artists died or not, it would have nothing to do with him. Hurry up and go. Now that this Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion had been injured by someone, it was a good opportunity to deal with the Heavenly Dipper Thunder Lion. If he did not grasp this opportunity, it would be almost impossible for him to dissect the Celestial Dipper Thunder Lion with his own strength in the future. Fugue. Tang Ao slowly exhaled a mouthful of turbid air. Then, the Shenong cauldron in front of Tang Ao trembled slightly. This wasn't the first time that Tang Ao had used the Shenong cauldron to refine pills, but it was the first time that Tang Ao had encountered such symptoms. Huh! As the farmer god cauldron trembled, Pill Saint Green Rock let out a cry of disbelief. As the progenitor of alchemy, Pill Saint Green Rock had refined pills his entire life. What kind of situation had he not encountered? But when he saw Tang Ao concoct this batch of pills, Pill Sage Green Rock still clicked his tongue in wonder. Under Pill Saint Green Rock's curious gaze, Tang Ao was also puzzled as he executed several pill arts. By this time, the flames of the scarlet fire crystals had already been extinguished. However, Tang Ao was still immersed in refining the pills. Even after the pill flames had been extinguished, he continued to use the pill technique to nourish the pills within the furnace. Tang Ao's pill refinement this time could be said to have reached the extreme in all aspects. He didn't seek the best, only better. Be it handling the immortal herbs, refining the medicinal liquid, fusing the pills, or nurturing the pills. Every step he took was pushed to the limit. This medicinal pill could be said to be the culmination of all of Tang Ao's skill in the Tao of alchemy. Because of this, the Shenong cauldron shook a little when Tang Ao was refining pills. There were 3 sacred objects for alchemy in the true martial world. The first alchemy holy artifact was the Medicine Ancestors Medicine Refining Pot. This medicine refining pot was only 3 feet tall, like a small-sized pill furnace. However, the edges and corners of its body were distinct, and its entire body was squarish. When using the medicine refining pot to refine pills, no matter what kind of pill was refined, there would always be 2 pills. Moreover, even the weakest alchemist would definitely refine a supreme-grade pill when using the medicine refining pot to refine pills. Chapter 2303. In order to use the farmer god cauldron to concoct good pills, the pill refiner had to be very skilled. When using the farmer god cauldron to concoct pills, the pill refiner would need to be of a higher grade. On the other hand, if the pill refiner's level of skill was too low, then the pill refined by the farmer god cauldron wouldn't be any better. It could be said that the farmer god cauldron was a pill refinement treasure that would become stronger against strong opponents and weaker against weak opponents. The third pill refinement treasure was originally a pill refinement treasure of the Yao clan, but it was snatched away by the Dragon clan. However, this treasure was extremely mysterious. Even Pill Saint Green Rock couldn't figure out what it was. The reason why Pill Saint Green Rock knew about the existence of this treasure was because he had obtained a pill refined from this treasure. As Tang Ao formed hand seals, the farmer god cauldron let out a loud hum. Immediately, a resplendent golden light blossomed. At this moment, Tang Ao couldn't even open his eyes. After the sword light gradually dissipated, Tang Ao immediately saw the pill he had concocted. After seeing this pill, Tang Ao's heart trembled. This was a completely golden pill. The moment the pill came out of the cauldron, the entire space was filled with the fragrance of the pill. This fragrance was calm and peaceful, making people feel very comfortable. Even their souls felt like they were being cleansed, making them feel extremely relaxed. The most mysterious thing was that around this pill, there were actually 3 strands of golden energy revolving around it. These 3 strands of energy were like 3 small golden dragons. From these 3 strands of energy, Tang Ao could even smell a faint dragon energy. Of course, this wasn't because Tang Ao's pill produced dragon energy out of thin air. Instead, it was because when Tang Ao was refining this dragon saliva pill, he added a very special immortal herb, the black nightshade grass. Normally, the black nightshade grass couldn't be used for pill refinement. It was a spiritual material used for smithing. Even though this sounded a little ridiculous, it was the truth. The black nightshade grass was the condensation of the heaven and earth dragon vein energy. Therefore, the black nightshade grass naturally contained a strand of dragon energy. It was just that it was easy to extract this dragon body, but it was basically impossible to integrate it into a pill. The innate dragon energy seemed to reject all other plants in the world, except for the black nightshade grass. Therefore, in the place where the black nightshade grass grew, only the black nightshade grass could be found within a radius of 10,000 miles. When Tang Ao added the black nightshade grass into the dragon saliva pill's pill formula, he did not expect the innate dragon chi of the black nightshade grass to be integrated into the pill. But now, this pill that Tang Ao had refined to the extreme seemed to have undergone a special change. This kind of change caused the innate dragon energy in the black nightshade grass to be attracted by the dragon saliva pill, and it actually gathered around the dragon saliva pill for a very long time without dissipating. Originally, the dragon energy in the black nightshade grass could not be used even if it was refined, and it would dissipate very quickly. However, when he saw the pill that Tang Ao had refined, Pill Saint Green Rock's eyes lit up. At this moment, Pill Saint Green Rock discovered that, intentionally or unintentionally, Tang Ao had actually solved a top-notch problem in the alchemy world. The black nightshade grass contained innate dragon energy. If this innate dragon energy could be used, whether it was for pill refinement, equipment forging, or even nourishing one's spiritual sea, it would be extremely beneficial. Chapter 2304. The elixir pill that Tang Ao had refined could exert 99% of its efficacy. It even contained the connate dragon chi extracted from the black nightshade grass. If the dragon tribe knew about this elixir formula, they would go crazy. Even a Dao master expert of the dragon tribe would be willing to help them for this elixir formula. Tang Ao did not know the value of this elixir formula, but Alchemy Sage Green Rock knew it very well. Therefore, Alchemy Sage Green Rock looked at Tang Ao and said slowly, "Have you heard of the story of the dragon saliva elixir?" Tang Ao nodded slightly when he heard what Alchemy Sage Green Rock said. There were records of the dragon saliva elixir in the inherited memories of the Shennong Emperor. Back then, Alchemy Sage Green Rock and Dragon Emperor Nine Yang of the dragon tribe had a gamble. They won and lost. He created the dragon saliva elixir and took away a treasure from the dragon tribe, the connate chaos cauldron. The value of this elixir formula is enough to make the dragon tribe go crazy. With this elixir formula, it is not impossible for you to get a peak Dao master expert of the dragon tribe to help you. However, there is one thing you need to know. You must have the ability to negotiate with the dragon tribe for this elixir formula to be effective. Alchemy Sage Green Rock's words made Tang Ao tremble. Tang Ao immediately understood what Alchemy Sage Green Rock meant. Back then, Alchemy Sage Green Rock could take away the dragon tribe's treasure. Besides winning the gamble with Dragon Emperor Nine Yang, Alchemy Sage Green Rock's cultivation level was also very high. Even Dragon Emperor Nine Yang was not confident that he could make alchemy's sage green rock stay. Therefore, Dragon Emperor Nine Yang eventually let alchemy's sage green rock go. On the other hand, if alchemy's sage green rock and Dragon Emperor Nine Yang's cultivation levels were too far apart, alchemy's sage green rock would not be able to leave the true dragon world without improving the dragon saliva elixir to the point where it could unleash 99% of its medicinal effects, let alone taking away the dragon tribe's supreme treasure. This was also a wake-up call for Tang Ao. After Tang Ao had a certain level of strength, this pill recipe would be the capital for him to negotiate with the true dragon clan. However, if Tang Ao's cultivation was too weak, it would be a case of an innocent man getting into trouble because of his wealth. Before he had the ability to protect himself, once the Dragon Clan martial artists knew that Tang Ao could refine such a dragon saliva pill, it would be a trivial matter for the Dragon Clan to force Tang Ao to hand over the pill recipe. In Tang Ao's opinion, it was not impossible for the Dragon Clan to capture him and lock him up to study pills for the Dragon Clan. Alchemy Sage Green Rock could come and go as he pleased in the true dragon world because his cultivation level was so high that even the Nine Yang Dragon Emperor was wary of him. Therefore, the Nine Yang Dragon Emperor could only watch helplessly as Alchemy Sage Green Rock took the Khanate Primordial Chaos Cauldron away. The Nine Yang Dragon Emperor did not have the confidence to make Alchemy Sage Green Rock stay. Therefore, he would not offend such an expert. However, the current Tang Ao was just like an ant in front of the true dragon world. If he was just an ordinary ant, the true dragon world would not even pay attention to him. However, this ant had something that would make the entire true dragon world go crazy. As such, Tang Ao's situation was obvious. At this point, Tang Ao even regretted giving the grade 1 King Dragon Saliva Elixir to Long Lon Lon. Chapter 2305. Seeing that Tang Ao understood his meaning, Pill Sage Green Rock nodded in relief. Then, Pill Sage Green Rock looked at Tang Ao with a serious expression. You are the disciple of the Shennong Emperor and the last successor of my Green Rock Pill Dao. Since we have met here, I will teach you the entirety of my Green Rock Pill Dao. After Pill Sage Green Rock finished speaking, Tang Ao's spirit was lifted. Pill Sage Green Rock was the number 1 Pill Sage since ancient times. He was also the only Pill Sage in the true martial domain. His Pill Dao inheritance was enough to make all the alchemists in the true martial domain go crazy. Then, Tang Ao saw Pill Sage Green Rock wave his sleeve, and 3 items appeared in front of Tang Ao. The first item was a jade talisman. After a glance, Tang Ao understood that this was the Green Rock Pill Dao's sect leader's jade talisman. The Shennong Emperor knew that Pill Sage Green Rock had fallen, but he didn't know where he had fallen. Therefore, the Green Rock Pill Dao's sect leader's jade talisman had always been with Pill Sage Green Rock. The second item was a jade slip. This jade slip contained Pill Sage Green Rock's lifelong understanding of alchemy. This golden jade slip was more precious than all the treasures in the entire Heavenly Fire ruins combined. Tang Ao suppressed the excitement in his heart and looked at the third item. This third item was a green pill. After seeing this pill, Tang Ao's eyes were filled with doubt. Even with Tang Ao's knowledge, Tang Ao still couldn't recognize what this pill was. After Tang Ao's soul remembrance swept over it, Tang Ao discovered that this was not a pill at all. In other words, this green pill was not an ordinary pill. To put it simply, there was absolutely no way to consume this pill. This was because this pill was actually refined using green mud. No matter how miraculous this pill was, it was likely that no one would want to taste the taste of a green mud pill. Moreover, in Tang Ao's opinion, this green mud pill was more like a spiritual weapon than a pill. That was because this medicinal pill was refined from a special kind of green clay, and there were countless runes hidden within the medicinal pill. Tang Ao felt that he had never seen this kind of green clay before, but at this moment, he felt a sense of familiarity. Tang Ao had a feeling that he had seen a similar aura somewhere before. After a long time, Tang Ao suddenly shivered as he looked at the green mud pill. Tang Ao recalled that Tang Ao had seen this aura not long ago. There was an unshakable green rock pill furnace in the 9-moon pill pavilion that had this kind of aura. Moreover, the green rock of the green rock pill furnace seemed to be made from this kind of green mud. Thinking of this, Tang Ao opened his eyes wide and began to observe the green mud pill. I feel a trace of the green rock pill furnace's aura on you. In fact, the green rock pill furnace is the Dragon Clan's supreme treasure, the primordial chaos cauldron. However, I used the green essence clay to seal it. This green mud pill is the key to break the seal. Take it and you can break the seal on the green rock pill furnace and recreate the primordial chaos cauldron. This time, Tang Ao was shocked once again. Tang Ao had never imagined that the unshakable green rock pill furnace in the 9-moon pill pavilion had such a great origin. It was actually the Dragon Clan's primordial chaos cauldron. However, Tang Ao didn't know much about this primordial chaos cauldron. Tang Ao immediately asked, "Grandmaster, please enlighten me. What is the use of the primordial chaos cauldron?" If it was in the past, it would have been difficult for Tang Ao to seek advice from anyone if he encountered any problems. Tang Ao's alchemy Dao master had passed away countless years ago. Tang Ao's array Dao and blacksmithing Dao master had also passed away countless years ago. Now that Mo Wuji had finally met his grandmaster, even though he had also passed away countless years ago, he could finally ask some questions. The primordial chaos cauldron is useless. However, Pill Sage Green Rock's next sentence directly stunned Tang Ao. The primordial chaos cauldron is useless? Since it's useless, how can it be called a treasure? However, Tang Ao knew that Pill Sage Green Rock definitely had something else to say, so he didn't say anything. As expected, Pill Sage Green Rock fell silent for a moment before saying, "Do you know what comes after Grade 9 Immortal Artifact?" "After Grade 9 Immortal Artifact?" Tang Ao repeated in a low voice. Then, he replied, "Grand Disciple doesn't know." Tang Ao had a vague feeling that Grade 9 Immortal Artifact wasn't the limit of Immortal Artifact. For example, Tang Ao's Primal Chaos Hexagram Mirror and this Farmer God Cauldron were clearly existences that surpassed Grade 9 Immortal Artifact. However, Tang Ao didn't know what grade the treasures after Grade 9 were. Chapter 2306 Divine Artifact? Tang Ao narrowed his eyes. This was the first time Tang Ao had heard of divine artifact. Originally, Tang Ao had thought that immortal artifacts and divine artifacts were the same thing. It was just that they were called differently in different continents. Now, however, Tang Ao found out that divine artifacts were above Grade 9 Immortal Artifact. This meant that Tang Ao had at least 3 divine artifacts on him. Tang Ao had always known that his Shinnon Cauldron, Heaven-Raising Needle and Chaotic Hexagram Mirror were of a higher grade than the Primordial Sacred Heaven Bow. However, Tang Ao did not know that there were divine artifacts above Grade 9 Immortal Artifact. As Tang Ao was feeling puzzled, Pill Sage Green Rock continued, "Be it connate or acquired artifacts, they are divided into 4 grades. They are low, medium, high and supreme grade. This is a jade slip regarding the grades of divine artifact. Take a look." After saying that, Pill Sage Green Rock flipped his hand and an ancient-looking green jade slip appeared in his hand. Tang Ao accepted the jade slip and began looking through it. After just one glance, Tang Ao was completely immersed in the jade slip. The items described in the jade slip were things that Tang Ao had never heard of before. As he continued looking through the jade slip, Tang Ao was able to easily determine the grades of the 3 treasures of the Shinnon Cauldron. The Shenong cauldron was a low-grade Khanate artifact, while the Heaven-Raising Needle was a mid-grade acquired artifact. Distinguishing between Khanate and acquired artifacts was very easy. All he needed to do was check if the divine artifact had Khanate aura. As for Tang Ao's chaotic hexagram mirror, Tang Ao also knew what grade it was. After finding out the grade of the chaotic hexagram mirror, Tang Ao was shocked. The chaotic hexagram mirror was a top-grade Khanate artifact. There were only 10 such artifacts in the entire universe. Khanate artifacts were born when the world was created. Generally speaking, Khanate artifacts were stronger than acquired artifacts. On the other hand, acquired artifacts were forged by top blacksmith. Any blacksmith that could forge a low-grade acquired artifact was a stunning existence. However, in the past tens of thousands of years, there had been some refinement grandmasters who had managed to refine some low-grade divine artifacts and even middle-grade divine artifacts. There were also a few high-grade divine artifacts. However, there was not a single acquired top-grade divine artifact. It was as if a top-grade divine artifact was not something that could be forged by humans. After looking at this jade strip, Tang Ao opened a new door to the path of artifact crafting. Seeing that Tang Ao understood what a god artifact was, Pil Saint Green Rock continued, "In the past, I obtained the Xiantian Chaos Cauldron from the Dragon Clan. It is a top-grade Xiantian god artifact. The Khanate Chaos Cauldron has 2 uses. One is to temper acquired artifacts and has a chance of returning them to Khanate artifact." Hearing this, Tang Ao's eyes were filled with astonishment. What kind of heaven-defying effect was this to turn a Hotian artifact into a Xiantian artifact? Even a low-grade innate god weapon was much more valuable than a mid-grade acquired god weapon or even a high-grade acquired god weapon. One of the main reasons was that there was a limit to the number of Khanate artifacts. Chapter 2307. Other than using acquired artifacts to reverse nature, the Khanate Mixed Origin Cauldron also has another use, which is to refine one's spirit. Refining one's spirit is to extract the essence of heaven and earth and fuse it into an artifact. Everything in the world, even warriors, can be refined. Refining one's spirit allows an artifact to improve by leaps and bounds. The more times one refines one's spirit, the higher the grade of the artifact. Pil Saint Green Rock took out a cauldron and handed it to Tang Ao. Tang Ao scanned the cauldron with his soul remembrance, and was immediately startled. It was a grade 8 immortal artifact cauldron, but from what Tang Ao saw, it was comparable to a grade 9 immortal artifact cauldron. Very quickly, Tang Ao sensed a trace of unique aura from the grade 8 immortal pill furnace. As Tang Ao followed the aura, he quickly saw a golden mark at the intersection of the inscription formations in the cauldron. "This is a divine inscription," Pil Saint Green Rock said when Tang Ao saw the golden mark. This cauldron was originally a grade 8 immortal artifact cauldron, but after refining one's spirit, it advanced to a grade 9 immortal artifact cauldron. If it continues to refine its spirit and succeeds, it might advance into a divine artifact cauldron. At this point, Pil Saint Green Rock's tone changed. However, you must remember that even with the Khanate Mixed Origin Cauldron, the success rate of refining one's spirit is still extremely low. The higher the grade of the artifact, the lower the success rate. This is a jade scroll for cultivating the art of spiritual enhancement. Take a good look. As he spoke, Pil Saint Green Rock handed over another golden jade scroll. Tang Ao took the jade scroll carefully and studied it carefully. Be it the acquired to innate or the art of spiritual enhancement, they were all mysterious and unfathomable techniques to Tang Ao. In fact, Tang Ao even had a special liking for the art of spiritual enhancement. Tang Ao possessed Yun Xiaoyao's inheritance. As time went by, Tang Ao's artifact forging skills would only get better and better. When that time came, even if Tang Ao couldn't refine divine artifacts, Tang Ao could use the art of spiritual enhancement to refine his own immortal artifact into a divine artifact. Using the connate mixed origin cauldron could even refine an acquired artifact into an innate one. Pill St. Greenrock had also mentioned that the connate mixed origin cauldron could be used to refine an acquired artifact. While Tang Ao was immersed in the jade strip, Tang Ao suddenly felt the ground shake a little. Not just Tang Ao, but the entire celestial ruins shook violently. In the depths of the heavenly fire ruins, a pitch-black spatial passageway appeared. Through this spatial passageway, one could even see the realm outside the ruins of immortality. This spatial passageway was blasted open by the battle between the heavenly astral Thunder Lion and Lu Hua. After the spatial passageway was blasted open, the heavenly astral Thunder Lion did not hesitate and immediately fled into the spatial passageway. Lu Hua's expression darkened. He made a hand seal and a golden light shielded his body. Lu Hua passed through the spatial passage and chased after the celestial spirit divine cauldron. Lu Hua's soul imprint was in the celestial spirit divine cauldron's stomach, which meant that the lion had already swallowed Tang Ao. Even the heaven talisman was in the lion's stomach. Lu Hua had to kill the lion. The lion was already injured after its battle with Yi Qiuqing. Now that it had escaped into the void world, it was obvious that the lion couldn't hold on much longer. Chapter 2308 Innate Primordial Stone, Divine Transformation Stone. Tang Ao spat out the names of the two items in Pill Sage Greenrock's secret realm. Tang Ao also understood how to use the innate primordial cauldron after looking at the jade slip about it. To use the innate primordial cauldron to reverse a postnatal divine artifact, one would need to use the innate primordial stone. A postnatal low-grade divine artifact would need one innate primordial stone, while a postnatal mid-grade divine artifact would need 10 innate primordial stones, and so on. But there was also a chance of reversing a postnatal divine artifact. Once it succeeded, it would be reborn and its power would increase greatly. But once it failed, the divine artifact would be damaged and its grade would drop. The divine transformation stone was used to refine the spirit. Theoretically, there was no limit to the number of times one could refine the spirit. But after several generations of innate primordial cauldron owners concluded that it could be done 9 times in total. So far, there was no item that could refine the spirit 9 times. The number of divine stones needed to refine the spirit also increased by 10 times. The first time required a divine transformation stone and the second time required a divine stone. Moreover, refining the spirit was extremely dangerous. If it failed, the item would definitely be damaged. So generally speaking, extremely precious items wouldn't be used for refining the spirit if it was a single item. But refining the spirit was a very mysterious matter that was related to the blacksmith's strength and luck. There were some blacksmiths who could refine low-grade god weapons, but there were still cases where they would fail after just one attempt at spirit refinement. At the same time, there were also weapon refinement masters who might not even be able to forge immortal weapons. However, when they were refining their spirits, it was as though they had the help of God. They succeeded 8 times in a row. The more Tang Ao looked, the more he felt that refining the spirit was magical. Even though the innate primordial stone wasn't as precious as a postnatal divine artifact, it was still very rare. In the 36 realms of the true martial domain, there were slightly more innate primordial stones because the laws of heaven and earth were complete. But for a low-grade realm like the Black-Yellow Continent, one might not even find an innate primordial stone even if they searched hundreds of continents. Compared to the innate primordial stone, the divine stones used for refining the spirit were much easier to obtain. Even in the immortal ruins, there were large amounts of divine transformation stones. Previously, Tang Ao didn't know about spirit refinement. Moreover, there weren't any powerful blacksmiths in the ruins of immortality. Therefore, Tang Ao didn't have any way of coming into contact with spirit refinement. I have already passed all the inheritance of the Green Rock Alchemy Tao to you. Whether the Green Rock Alchemy Tao will end in your hands or walk towards glory in your hands will depend on your luck. In addition, I will open a space-time secret realm for you. Cultivating for 100 years in the space-time pocket realm was only a day in the outside world. I can open the space-time mystic realm for you for 10 days. You'll have to seize the opportunity yourself. After saying that, Pill Saint Greenrock tossed a golden storage ring to Tang Ao. Immediately, Tang Ao's surroundings were enveloped by a layer of mist. When the mist dissipated, Tang Ao looked around again and immediately saw a world filled with immortal charm. This world was also foggy, but the laws of heaven and earth and the aura of the great Tao were extremely clear. In this place, Tang Ao even discovered that even if he did not cultivate, his cultivation was still rising steadily. This is a good place. Even though cultivating here might not be able to progress by leaps and bounds, cultivating for a day here is equivalent to cultivating for 10 days outside. It's a pity that there isn't any immortal spiritual qi here. Chapter 2309. After taking out the immortal crystal, Tang Ao smiled bitterly. As Tang Ao had expected, the immortal spiritual energy in the immortal crystal immediately disappeared the moment he took it out. It was as if immortal spiritual energy was not allowed to exist in this place. According to Pill Saint Greenrock, Tang Ao could cultivate in this space for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, it would only be 10 days in the outside world. With such an opportunity, if he could cultivate normally, Tang Ao was confident that he could at least cultivate to the celestial turbid realm. As long as he cultivated to the celestial turbid realm, with Tang Ao's various means, even a Tao master expert would not be able to kill Tang Ao easily. After cultivating to the celestial turbid realm, he could barely be regarded as a top expert in this world. At that time, Tang Ao could easily travel to other world. In this way, Tang Ao could also go to the profound cold world to find Chu Xuan. Pill Saint Greenrock did not say much about this special space. Tang Ao knew that Pill Saint Greenrock's intention was for him to explore. Although this place was incapable of increasing one's cultivation base, Tang Ao discovered something special about it. In this space, his comprehension of everything was infinitely magnified. Many problems that troubled Tang Ao in refining weapons, alchemy, and even martial arts after coming here, Tang Ao actually had some ideas. With this thought, a green light appeared behind Tang Ao and the green lotus sword soul was instantly summoned. Then, under Tang Ao's control, the green lotus sword soul combined into one and turned into a green lotus sword that appeared in Tang Ao's hand. Tang Ao's thoughts raced as he suddenly swung his sword. This was the 5th sword of the 7-killing divine path. Tang Ao had not been able to deduce the 5th sword of the 7-killing divine path. At this moment, the sword that Tang Ao swung could not be regarded as the 5th sword of the 7-killing divine path. It was just a casual move that followed Tang Ao's thoughts. As soon as the sword appeared, a green light immediately slashed in front of Tang Ao. The power of the green light was extraordinary, but Tang Ao had a vague feeling that the 5th sword of the 7-slaughtering divine path was not as simple as it seemed. There should be more of these sword lights, and they should be faster and sharper. With this thought in mind, 2, 3, 4 streams of sword qi appeared in front of Tang Ao. Just like this, it turned into a green light and slashed out. Tang Ao did not expect that the moment he deduced the 7 kills Sage Tao in the space-time mystic realm, he would immediately immerse himself in it. It was only after a long time that Tang Ao was suddenly jolted awake when 36 streams of sword qi appeared in front of him. Tang Ao knew that if he continued to deduce like this, it was highly likely that he would be able to deduce the fifth sword of the seven killing sage Dao. However, Tang Ao was afraid. This was because Tang Ao had to stay in this space-time mystic realm for more than 1,000 years, and there was no way for him to recover his immortal spiritual energy. Just as Tang Ao was thinking about his immortal spiritual energy being depleted, it would be meaningless for him to stay in the space-time mystic realm. To his shock, Tang Ao realized that when he was deducing the seven killing sage Dao, he had slashed out no less than 1,000 times. However, at this moment, the immortal spiritual energy in his body did not decrease at all. At the thought of this, Tang Ao swung his sword. It was the first sword of the seven slaughtering sage Dao, Windcloud Demise. After the Windcloud Demise, Tang Ao's sword momentum did not stop. The 9 Heavens Phoenix Dance and 8 Desolation Sword Chi were suddenly released. In the past, when Tang Ao consecutively executed the first 4 swords of the 7 slaughtering sage Dao, Tang Ao's immortal spiritual energy would be depleted by 30%. However, Tang Ao was shocked to realize that his immortal spiritual energy would not be depleted in the space-time mystic realm. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.